Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another episode of the Frozen Sodium Throne, and obviously I'm here with... Fuck me.
How you guys doing?
I'll do that one again. Fuck that shit. I choked. I haven't woken up yet. Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another episode of the Frozen Sodium Throne. I believe this is episode 13. I'm here with Accolonn. How are you doing, sir?
Sup, ladies and gentlemen. Sup, Rurikhan. How you doing, brother? I'm good. I've been awake since 5 o'clock. I already edited like 6 videos. So I've been fucking busy. How about you?
I am extremely jealous of your work ethic. Like editing 6 videos, being up since 5 a.m. That is absolute insanity. Yep. I'm lucky if I'm able to pump out like maybe 1 video a day. If I get like 2 videos, that is a very good day. Like yesterday was a very good day. I was able to do 1 stream and put out 1 video. I was like, today was a good day, man. August has been like a complete insanity of a month. So I have my kids. I have some health stuff that I'm taking care of. And on top of it, we had a release like right before August, which was Xenoblade Chronicles 3 that I told you I've been playing. Then suddenly Capcom comes out with an announcement for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, and they go like, oh yeah, here's what's going to be in this update, and they hadn't revealed when the update was coming out, right? So on the 9th, they go and they say, okay guys, so you know there was an update coming on August. Here's what's in the update. It's massive endgame systems. Like it's 4 new monsters they're adding into the game. All of these monsters have new armors, new weapons, all of that stuff. So that in of itself already a lot of content. Then on top of it, they're like, also, we're going to allow you to augment your armor. Brand new upgrade system. We're going to allow you to augment your weapons. Another brand new upgrade system. And we're going to have a system to generate random quests with random monsters, and those quests are you're gonna be able to level them up to get more powerful materials to do more powerful stuff. It's basically like kind of almost like a Mythic Plus type grind, right?
Yeah.
And so they add they're talking about we're gonna add all of these things, and by the way, it's gonna go live tomorrow. And I was like, wait, what? But I was playing Xenoblade. What are you doing? So they add all of these things into the game. Fantastic friggin' update.
I mean, it really is such a content creator issue, right? It's like literally only a content creator issue where most gamers are super happy when new shit comes.
Oh, I'm happy still.
Whereas as a content creator, you're like, bro, I'm still busy. Like, give me a week. Let me just finish all the fucking shit that I have here. And then you can fucking bring new shit out. It's like whenever I'm speculating, right? Because I make a lot of speculation videos, but I don't bring them out day after the other, right? I don't release every single day. I release like once every 3-4 days, just to give the videos time to breathe and also not to sort of rush people into new theories. So I'll usually have like a backlog of say 5 or 6 videos, and then Blizzard will come out with brand new information that destroy like all of those videos. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? You could have waited a little, just even get the shit out and then fucking drop the shit, right? So yeah, I feel you. I just want to say these weren't massively edited videos. These were clips.
Yeah,
they're super easy to edit. It's basically just sort of give it a bit of a black to full opaque, everything's fine now, and the sound, a little bit of sound editing, and then I'm done. So the massive editing one will still happen today. That one takes usually about 4 or 5 hours.
But so all of those things come out on the 10th, and I was like, okay, I have to put Xenoblade on pause because, Monster Hunter is how my main content, so anything comes out, Monster Hunter, instantly jump on it. And then I started streaming it, and I was like, maybe 2 or 3 streams, and I should be okay. Bro, I've played probably over 20 hours of this content right now, and I haven't seen everything yet, to give you an idea.
Shit.
Yeah, dude, it's like, wow. It's insane, the amount of stuff that they added. I was like, this is really, really cool. Like, a lot of value. And again, completely free title update for anyone that bought the game. They also added some paid DLC, which I actually did get because they had like some old music and stuff like that. Because they let you choose your music when you are in certain areas of the game. and they put in music from the older games that like has a lot of nostalgia. And I was like, oh, I'm getting some of those, dude. I'm getting some of those. I don't care. It was like
the paid DLC. Does it add any sort of must-have gameplay stuff, or is it mainly just music and shit?
Nothing. It's music and a couple of cosmetics.
I love that. So, I mean, before we transition into, because I do actually have a question that I wanted to ask you, but just on the DLC thing, I am fine with 2 types of extra content on top of the original release. The one is fully cosmetic-driven DLC, right? If enough effort was put into those DLCs to make them worth. I'm not talking about, for anyone that don't know, Mass Effect 3. With Mass Effect DLC, you know, this was back in the day when you could charge $5 or $6 for a DLC, until they realized, no, we could actually fleece them for like 20 to 30 bucks and they'd still be more moronic enough to fucking buy it. But those were DLCs, like a lot of those were just completely useless. Like you could see that minimum effort went into those. So if you do like really cool DLC where it's not necessary to buy, but if you do buy it, you get some really cool shit from it, I'm fine with that. And then the other one obviously is expansions. If you're going to do an expansion like a year or so after the game launches, fuck yeah, more content, more story, let's go. I never mind that.
So let me actually tell you about how Monster Hunter expansions work, just in case you're curious about that. So Sunbreak is actually an expansion. So the actual game, when it came out, was Monster Hunter Rise. Now, Monster Hunter Rise, if you're going to just like burn through it and, you know, just go through the entirety of the content, you're looking at somewhere between 100 to 150 hours of gameplay, depending on, you know, how much you want to engage with the content. I myself spent like over 700 hours playing the game.
Yep.
And that's without, you know, I did repeat some of the content. I was doing guides and stuff like that, so it always uses up a little bit more. But like a regular player could easily get anywhere from 100 to 200 hours of the base game. Yeah. The expansion, which is what we used to call back in the day a G rank expansion, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, has, I would argue, twice that amount of content. So it's like you have the base Rise content, then on top of it, you get pretty much almost twice the content. Because they increase the difficulty of the monsters, they give them new moves and stuff like that, and then they add a bunch of new monsters into the mix. And then on top of it, they have like these free title updates planned out, which this one was the first one. And that free title update's already like 20 plus hours for me, and it'll be like a lot more hours for most players, because I'm not even done. There's a ton of stuff still to do. And then at the end of September, there's going to be another one of the same size as this one. And this is all free, by the way. This is all free. I mean, you paid for the expansion, of course.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. I think at the end of the year, there's another one. And then in 2023, there's going to be another one. And then I think there's even a couple of more planned. But there's already like 4 counting this one, 4 title updates planned, which are going to be completely free. And there are some people that I've seen like rail against some of the cosmetic DLC. And I get it because like, oh, I paid for my $60 game. But it's like, look, your $60 game in 2022 is not going to give you 1,000 hours of gameplay without asking you for a little something, like, right? So cosmetic DLC, I'm kind of okay with it to an extent. Yeah. I feel like with Rise, they put up maybe a little bit too much cosmetic DLC, even though, again, they did title updates as well, which added new monsters and stuff like that. But I still feel like, you know, there is a line there. And I feel like so far, Sunbreak has been doing a really good job of balancing it out. And the thing about Monster Hunter is that even though there's cosmetic DLC, so far, the best looking armors are in the game. And they let you craft them as cosmetics. So say, for instance, okay, I really like this monster's armor. You can craft it as a cosmetic so that you can change your armor into it. So it's like they let you do all of this cosmetic stuff for free already. So then having a couple of additional stuff, I'm like, it's whatever. It's fine. I don't care.
I think the main thing that pisses me off, right, is you have companies like this. And Capcom, by the way, is in no way, shape, or form a consumer-friendly company for most of their gaming titles.
And it's important to point out, whenever I talk about Monster Hunter, I like to make the distinction that, like, look, there are teams within Capcom, and one of those teams is the Monster Hunter team. And I have complete faith in the Monster Hunter team. I don't have complete faith in Capcom because they've done some really shady shit in some of their games.
They are not immune to being shady pieces of shit. But even if a company as scumbag as Capcom, and they're nowhere near the most scumbag, if their name is not EA or Blizzard, they're not the most scumbag, but they're still up there. If they can look at a $60 price tag, hundreds of hours of content, free updates with even more content being added, and still view this as we do make enough money off of this, then all of those arguments that people have about, oh my God, you need cash shops because without cash shops, the companies wouldn't make any money. $60 is so little for games these days. It's been like that for 2 decades. It's bullshit. If they can make money off of a $60 price tag, everyone can. So if you still buy into the bullshit of, we need the cash shops because, otherwise they're going to have to increase the price of games to like $100 per game.
Nah.
You're a moron. You've been bought by the corporations and you fall them for their shit.
Yeah, and you want to know the best part about it? There are a minority of people in the Monster Hunter community that complain and say this is not enough content.
There's always going to be those people, right? There is always going to be those people.
Bro.
Let me put it to you this way. There are people in the cyberpunk community that complain about the exact same thing. They complain that there's not enough content in cyberpunk.
I haven't played it yet, but I've heard that you can get a lot of hours out of it. So I don't know.
I've done 4 playthroughs of that game now. I have currently, as things stand, I have over 400 hours logged into Cyberpunk. I've not done everything yet. I'm still busy doing shit. So there's still a lot of things that I need to do. How much fucking content do you need? The problem is, right, more content isn't always more better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking content in games where if you really... So I actually read an interesting comment earlier today on... Because they sort of announced that the... what's the game? You fucking played this. The Dark Souls but Ninja Samurai bullshit.
Sekiro.
I think it's Sekiro one, yeah? Yeah, I think it's Sekiro. I think they're making a movie out of it.
No, that's not Sekiro. It is Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, I saw that news article this morning.
Sorry,
I saw that
Ghost
you commented on it.
Yeah, and they're making it with a fucking old Japanese cast, which I think is great. But it's also going to be in Japanese, which I think is bullshit. I don't mind. So I'm sort of in the band of, you know what? Yes, when I'm playing or watching a movie about samurais, the last thing I need to see is like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed fucking guy being a samurai. Like, what's the point? You're not a samurai, right?
There's a story about that, though. Like the main character from Neo, and I think that there's like some kind of reference in there. I don't know exactly which story it is, but it's about some guy who ended up in Japan and was trained as a samurai. It's like it's a base of a lot of stories. So what's his name? Tom Cruise. I believe played the movie.
The Last Samurai. Yes. Now that does happen, but when you think about
that's a really good movie, by the way. That's a really good fucking movie.
It is a good fucking film. But you think about if I'm telling you, we're making a movie about samurais. Brad Pitt isn't the thing that comes to mind, right? If we're making a movie about Greek gods, maybe Brad Pitt. But we're not. We're making a movie about samurai, right? So I don't mind that it's an all Asian cast. That makes perfect sense. It's like, what's that? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah, I have.
Also, all Asian cast. Love the movie. The bit I could have fucking done without is the subtitles. It's like, dude, just make the movie in fucking English.
There's a dubbed version of it.
Yeah, I can't watch dubbed either.
Bro, we are not gonna agree with this because I'm a sub guy when it comes to that shit. I don't know.
I am fucking loathe subs.
I am not. Here's the interesting thing. The reason I know how to speak English as well as I do is because of subs, because I used to watch Star Wars as a kid repeatedly over and over and over and over until I memorized the lines, and I memorized what the actors were saying, and then I would associate the words the actors were saying with the subtitles, and that's how I learned a lot of my English. So I have no problem with subtitles. As a matter of fact, in Portugal, I prefer subtitles. I mean, then again, I know how to speak English so well that subtitles don't even matter anymore. But like, I would always prefer subtitles, and when I watch anime, it's always sub. Like, forget about it.
You see, here's this amazing scene. They're fighting. They're fucking speaking. They're saying all these important things. You should really be looking at the screen. No, I'm reading the fucking lines at the bottom of the screen. Never mind what the fuck is happening here.
Get good at multitasking.
I do not multitask. I either read or I watch. I cannot do both. I fucking loathe subtitles with every fiber in my being. So just make it all English. It's fine.
Make it all English. Dude, that's the worst
just make
part.
It all English.
People would probably say that is such an American thing to say, and it's like, you're African.
I don't even, English isn't even my first language.
Yeah, exactly.
Afrikaans is my first language.
I remember, I don't know if it was in our podcast or in one of your videos, someone was criticizing the fact that you said is when you should have said are or something like that, or have when you should have said has. And it's like, bro, you gotta love like some English native speakers coming in to criticize someone making a slight mistake in English. You can just go like, how many languages do you speak, motherfucker? It's like, excuse me. What do you mean?
I mean, it is annoying, but I find, so just on the topic, I hate subtitles.
Yeah,
I absolutely. It is the way that they would. I would not watch that movie. If that movie does come out in Japanese, I'll just not watch it.
But it's like, surely you need to understand there is different language media for different, for different people. So it's like, I think it's fine if they do an all Japanese cast and a completely Japanese movie. I mean, even the game there, I'm pretty sure there's an option to play it fully Japanese. I think I played it English because they did really good voice acting. And people called me racist because I faked the Japanese accent when I did that video. I did a review for that game. And I did like, I faked the Japanese accent at the start, as in like, oh, welcome to the age of samurai, something like that. And people were like, are we just going to casually ignore Rurikhan being racist? And I'm like, what?
How is that racist?
I can't fake a Japanese accent because I'm racist. In that case, look, tell you what, I don't want to hear anybody else even trying to speak Portuguese, man. Y'all are racist against.
Like, that's the thing, right? I was so watching this. So I was actually this was really funny. I was watching this guy who does these videos where he'll dress up as like a specific culture, like he'll take their cultural dress. And then he'll go to university campuses and he'll like ask them, do you find my outfit offensive? And like all of the students are like, yeah, because he's wearing this authentic Chinese garb.
And they found it offensive.
And everyone's like, oh my God, this is so offensive. And he's like, why? And they're like, oh my God, it's cultural appropriation. You're not part of that culture. You don't understand the behind the scenes stuff of it. And then he went to Chinatown, right, in America. And the same fucking outfit, he wears the same outfit, and he asks the Chinese people there, do you find my outfit offensive? And they're like, no, it's nice. It's really nice. It looks cool. People are so happy that he's wearing this because, man, this is what I mean with like brain dead people on Twitter. They've lost the ability to differentiate between what would be considered bullshit cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation.
Yeah.
If you dress up in Chinese garb and you make a mockery of what that is, one could argue distasteful, most likely, not in good taste. Yeah. But if you're just wearing it and it's celebrated, it shows that you, as someone from a different culture, kind of liked this so much that you wanted to wear it. It as a South African, if I see people wearing South African shit, I don't go, oh my God, how dare you fucking wear our shit? I'm like, wow, I didn't think anyone would like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's like, and let me tell you, that's another thing. Like, if anybody that listens to this podcast, or of somebody that ever wears some kind of like traditional Portuguese outfit, you can let them know I've given everyone blank permission to wear traditional Portuguese outfits, okay?
Yeah.
I have that level of authority, so you're all authorized to celebrate Portuguese culture anywhere in the world. This is actually something funny that happened a while back, and I don't want to drone on too much about like the kind of like culture war, right? But it's like, a while ago, I remember that someone was on Twitter or something wishing everybody a happy Chinese New Year or whatever because they have their different thing, right? And a bunch of people came in the comment
about
section.
When the year starts.
No, but okay, dude. But so a bunch of people went in the comment section while this dude was like celebrating Lunar New Year or whatever, and they were like, "Oh, you can't do that. You're not Chinese, or you're not of the right ethnicity. You can't do that. You're not allowed." I think that a Chinese person went in there and said, "I hereby declare that everyone in the world can celebrate Chinese New Year forever. Thank you." Because, like, come on, man. The actual cultures, they appreciate this type of stuff. Of course we do. Like, what the hell? It's completely ridiculous.
Culture, the thing is, culture is meant to be
celebrated, and it's meant to be celebrated.
Yeah, that's the whole point of culture. Now, there's distasteful things. It's not offensive. It's not horrible. It's distasteful. And sure, most people wouldn't abide by it and won't do it. But for the most part, cultures are meant to be celebrated. And people who come from cultures that isn't America, FY, because most people that have a problem with this are Americans. And also, it's always very fucking peculiar to me. And I don't want to turn this into a political thing, but it's very peculiar that the only people that really have a problem with it are middle class to sort of upper middle class white kids. Those are the people that have a problem with it. Those are the people that fucking complain about it all the time. Everyone else, like the normal people in the world, couldn't give two fucks. They're just, wow, you look really cool wearing our garb.
Exactly.
Right? Looking like us. That's awesome. That's nice. Actually, I know a lot of people would actually like to educate you on the history of that shit. Whenever they see it. So I do not understand why people get so fucking angry about it. But here's what I wanted to ask you before we got into, where we're both going to get canceled on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I wanted to ask you, so how many hours would a player like me get out of Monster Hunter? Considering how I play video games.
It's hard because, I mean, if you were to play it all the way, if you were to like try to critical path it, you'll still have to do a little bit of grinding in between. I would argue probably 100 hours in Rise, and then probably 150 in Sunbreak or something like that. Assuming that you get somewhat lucky with some of the drops in order to craft.
To be fair, though,
you're doing.
You are talking about me, the same guy that yesterday streamed for 6 hours, Divinity Original Sin 2, right? There's a boat scene between Act 1 and Act 2. The boat is meant, I imagine, to last like 10 minutes, maybe?
Yeah. No, it's supposed to last a little bit more, yeah.
Okay, let's say an hour. But in 6 hours, I started on the boat, and I am still on the boat.
Yeah, but
I've not left the fucking boat yet.
Here's how you look at it. Like a Monster Hunter base, like where you start the game, it's kind of like an Ouroboros, basically. You sit there, you grab your quests, and then you go on your quests, and each quest is almost like an instance. It's not physically connected. You don't have to walk there. They just literally like, okay, here you go. You're off. And then you land on the map, and then in the map, you're just supposed to go and hunt the monster. Now, you can spend some time collecting, like, wildlife and stuff, but eventually that's, you're going to understand how the map works, and you're just going to chase after the monster and kill it. And yeah, I think that you might take like your first 20 or so hours might be a little bit exaggerated, but after that, you'll start to kind of like streamline the process and get into zone.
Just to be fair, the same thing with Elden Ring. Streamed that for 6 hours, and I killed one boss and spent the rest of the time just running around talking to Twitch chat.
Yeah.
Like not doing anything else.
I think you're going to time out a couple of quests. You're going to be like, the timers there's a 50 limit timer on each quest.
I would never finish a map.
No, but
I would
it's
be
like,
saying back the whole time.
usually hunts will last you like maximum for an inexperienced player, probably like half an hour. So those 50 minutes is like grossly exaggerated. So you still have like 20 minutes of bullshitting around that you don't have to.
No, I'm just sort of saying, the way I play games is I don't know if a game like that would work for me because I take such an excruciating amount of time to play it. I've actually seen people on Twitch be like, not a lot, but you do get people. I got a comment the other day in one of my DMs where someone was like, dude, I was trying to watch you play Elden Ring. It is so fucking annoying. Can you just stop talking? I'm like, dude, if you go play the game yourself, what the fuck? Like if you don't want to come to my stream, go play it yourself.
Every now and then, I'll be like doing stuff in Monster Hunter. Like I'll be reviewing weapons and stuff like that. Like I'll be saying, oh, I like this weapon because of this. I don't like this weapon because of that. I don't like this armor set. Someone's like, bro, just go hunt. And I'm like, no. I do what I want.
I do what I want. Exactly.
Like,
I do what I fucking want, bro.
I'll hunt when I feel like it, god damn it. Now I'm seeing armors and I'm planning out how I'm going to build this set and doing all of these things. And then I'll go hunt.
It reminds me of, I don't know if you've ever watched Parks and Recreation.
No, I haven't.
It's like one of my favorite mockumentaries ever, right? Ron Swanson is my spirit animal.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. This is the one I give you $100 to fuck off.
I think so, but okay. So this guy is like he's my spirit animal. I want to be like Ron Swanson, but he has this one scene in one of the episodes where he goes, on principle, I never do anything that someone else obviously wants me to do. At my first wedding, it took 2 hours because after the priest said, repeat after me, I fell silent. He just refused to repeat after the priest. He just stood there. He's like, no, I will not fucking say what you want me to say. I'll just stand here. That reminds me of it. Like when I'm streaming, as soon as you tell me, dude, let's just fucking go. I'm like, no, I don't think I will. I will fucking stand here now and I will waste as much time as I can because you wanted me to go somewhere. So we'll just stay here.
Oh man, Josh Strife-Hayes I've seen a lot of clips of Josh Strife-Hayes pulling that stuff off. It's really funny. But anyway,
no, I mean, I have actually. This is sort of outside of the streaming sphere thing, but I sort of wanted to get your opinion on this because I know it's not massive in the communities, but I'm sure even in your community you have aspiring streamers and aspiring content creators and stuff. You probably get the same as I, comments every now and again from someone going, what suggestion would you have for someone that wants to get into content creation and so on? So what is your take on streaming? Would you say find one thing that gets you viewers and just hammer that one thing home? Or would you say do whatever you want regardless of what the viewers are?
See, that's
of where the viewers are.
That's the thing. I always go two ways with that. It's like, well, you want to start content creation, so we've established that much. Now we have to establish another thing. Do you want to do it for the passion, or do you want to do it for the success? If you want to do it for the success, find that one niche thing that's going to get you viewers and hammer that all the way home, and you will be mega successful. If you want to do it for the passion, you want to diversify, but you want to get still that niche thing that, like, you know, keeps you coming back and keeps people coming back. So in my case, the niche thing is Dark Souls and Monster Hunter. It's not even something that I chose. It's just something that organically happened. Like, people just come to me for that type of content, Dark Souls and Monster Hunter. And then for the passion stuff, because, you know, I am passionate about Dark Souls and Monster Hunter, but I'm passionate about a lot of other things. But for that, I just created separate avenues. So, for instance, the channel where this podcast goes, it's where I put MMO content because as, who was it that said it recently? I don't remember. I think it might have been, no, it was Kira. It was Kira TV. He said recently, like, look, you need to understand, MMO content creators aren't doing it for the money because it's terrible fucking money. It's true.
It really
it's
is.
1,000%. Like, unless you're already Omega established, or you get you get your foot in the door and stuff like that. Like, you have your Asmongold super well established. You have Zepla super well established. You have Josh Strife Hayes now. Like, you have a bunch of people that are established. Those people are making a decent chunk of change. Most people that are not established in the MMO space, it's going to be an uphill battle all the way, and you're not going to be making that much money. It's just not a thing.
The thing with MMOs is, you're right, it is very passion-driven.
Yeah.
The other problem with MMOs, and this is sort of the big one, all of the biggest names that you see today in MMOs, the Balulas, the Asmongold, even probably the Just Strive Hazes and those guys, they started very long ago. So they've been in this industry for a lot of years. They sort of made their name, although Josh is just a genius. The way that
Josh is a little bit more recent, I feel like.
Yeah, but he is just a genius when it comes to figuring out how to get people to click. But for the most part, the guys that made it really successful.
You know what it is about Josh? You know what it is? I figured out the formula. Because if you think about Josh, and then you think about, for instance, Total Biscuit, they have British accents. It's just like, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is.
That
British accents, dude. No, no. There's no and. It's just the British accent. It's the British accent. We don't have the British accent, and therefore we're not going to be.
The British accent definitely
commands
helps,
authority, dude.
But they do something else. Total Biscuit was literally just a case of, he was the first to do the kind of stuff that he did, and it just massively worked at the time. Nowadays, almost all other content creators try to emulate what Total Biscuit did at the time. It was the first sort of long form, almost video essay type of content around, at the time, World of Warcraft, and eventually a little bit more broader games in general. But
that's because you know that he also did a podcast before all the YouTube stuff, right? Blue Please, man. Blue Please was amazing. I used to like be excited about Friday evenings to go and watch Blue Please live when he started, like at one point he started streaming it, and I was like, oh man, this is amazing. It was like my Friday evening plan was I would go get a burger or something, and then I'd be sitting there just like playing World of Warcraft, listening to Blue Please. Those were the fucking days, dude.
So Total Biscuit was the first, but what Josh Strive Hayes did, which is actually genius, which if you can pull it off, fucking go for it. Yeah. He's not just selling videos. He's selling a brand. He's selling a lifestyle. If you look at his entire background, it was chosen very specifically. That background is curated to, this is a gamer, right? And this is the lifestyle of a gamer. The way he dresses, that's a lifestyle. People buy into the lifestyle. And once you have that, the growth is almost automatic. So he is just a fucking genius. But a lot of the other guys, they've been in this industry. They started making it big when it was still easy to make it big. Back in the day. Well, actually, I would say back in the day, if you go 6-7 years ago with YouTube, all you had to do was put out videos. The views would come fucking automatically.
I was so stupid because you know that I was on YouTube in 2007. Like, I made a tanking guide that has like 200,000 views or something that's in this channel. People still get it recommended every now and then if they watch one of these recent videos that I put out. And it's hilarious because it is such bad quality. I'm like listening to music in the background and I'm talking about tanking. And like one of the sentences that I say in that video is just like, yeah, because, and I was even like whispering because my wife was sleeping while I was recording that video. And I was like, getting stunned in an instance is like getting fucked in the ass. This is something that I would say in a guide. It's like, what the hell, bro?
But I mean, that was it, right? Back in the day, because this was prior to the YouTube algorithm bullshit. This was prior to the YouTube algorithm even actually existing, where if you just put out many videos, you would get many views because everyone would get recommended everything. Nowadays, especially with where MMOs are, most of the MMO audience on YouTube is incredibly niche. They're well established. They have their favorite content creators, and they're not really in the market for new ones. So you're, first of all, fighting that. And you make it even harder for yourself when you're like me, for example. I'm a niche within a niche because I'm an MMO content creator, but specifically a
For
World
lore.
of Warcraft MMO creator. So I'm taking the little community that I have access to and slicing it even further and saying, right, this is my fucking slice. I'll take this one, which kind of makes it even more difficult. But I would say, to the answer to the question that I asked you, I would say without passion, I don't even think you can make it big anyway. Even if you wanted to focus on just, getting growth. Because almost, I watch so many of the Twitch streamers of like the ones that made it big over the course of time and eventually exploded. All of them exploded due to passion, due to playing something that they were automatically just good at because this is what they've done for so long on Twitch. And I was sort of reminded of this watching Ninja, the journey of Ninja's career, as it were. And I'm not a big Ninja fan, to be fair. I don't find him entertaining at all. But Ninja started on Twitch, I believe, 7 years before he exploded into the mainstream. And he played first-person shooters. That's what he likes. That's the games that he plays. And it wasn't until Fortnite exploded, and he made the shift to Fortnite simply because it was a new shooter game. He didn't make the switch probably thinking, oh my God, this is going to be my big break. He was just like, oh my God, a new shooter. I want to go play it. It looks kind of cool. And then because he was so good, he happened to explode. So it came from passion. Nowadays, it's more just like farming. He is legitimately now probably just playing it because it's the only game that he will net any views from. But it sort of, I feel, and this is the thing, the reason I'm asking this is a thing that I've come to in my own career now, where I've decided I am going to stream whatever I want to stream whenever I want to stream it. So I've done away with my schedule, even though everyone tells you if you want to grow on Twitch, get a schedule. I'm like, no, I want to be entertaining. If I feel down someday or I feel like, oh my God, I'm not in the mood, I'm tired or whatever, I'm not going to stream. Because it's going to be a horrible fucking stream. It's going to be a stream of me sitting there not in a good mood. What's the point? So I'll stream when I want to stream, and more specifically, I'll stream what I want to stream. And if that gets me fewer viewers, which it does actually, my viewers went from like 150 to 75, 80. But it's fine, right? That's 80 people that is enjoying the content that I'm enjoying, which is good.
The way that I do it is like I look at YouTube as YouTube's the main stage. And then Twitch is kind of like the behind the scenes. That's kind of the way that I've been looking between YouTube and Twitch. It's like YouTube main stage. So whenever, a lot of times people ask me, why do you stream Monster Hunter on YouTube and not on Twitch? Because nobody wants to, I mean, sure, there are a few people that want to watch Monster Hunter on Twitch, but the potential for having like a good Monster Hunter stream on Twitch is like not even remotely close to YouTube. To give you an idea, when they did the announcement, the announcement on the 9th or whatever, I had over 3,500 people watching me on YouTube.
Jesus. Nice.
If I was to do that on Twitch, it would be 1-0 less. If I would even reach the 350. It's just that simple. It's because like, look, the Twitch does not have the audience, the amount of audience to be able to support certain niches. And that's why, again, Twitch to me is kind of like the backstage. It's like I just go there and I hang out and I play video games and it's whatever. And on YouTube is more like, no, it's the show. We go in and we do the thing that we came to do and boom, wham, bam. And it's also like a different energy. Like when you're streaming on Twitch, you can be more chill. And if you're streaming on YouTube, you have to be more active, more like, let's go, let's do boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So you have to be more high energy.
Because,
yeah.
People want to buy into the character that you create in YouTube, right? On your videos.
I don't have a character.
Everyone plays a character. Everyone has a character.
I don't have a character.
Here's why I say everyone has a character. If you took me from videos, even in this stream, and real life, I am basically the same person, except plus 20%. 10 to 20%, plus 10 to 20%. In real life, I'm a lot more chill. Like, I would say I'm a lot more boring. You know,
See,
I'm a lot more like reserved.
I'm not. This is like what you get in videos is exactly what you get in real life with me. It's literally like that. It's just just the way that I act in real life as well. So unless like say if you're in a professional setting, of course I'm not going to be as exaggerant and maybe flamboyant and whatnot. But like if I'm in with my friends setting and stuff like that and just chilling, I'm exactly like that.
You know, I'm very muted in real life. So I'll give you a good example. When I'm reacting to a video live on Twitch, it's like, oh my God, wow, what the fuck, dude? Because I obviously have those emotions, and it's not like I'm pretending to have those emotions.
You're just exaggerating a little bit.
Yeah, it's not even that I'm actively trying to exaggerate. Remember, it's that there's an energy going. Your chat's freaking out. You're fucking hyped up because, oh my God, look at this. You know, you're entertaining them, and so it just automatically comes out. But when I'm watching anything in real life, anything, and there's no fucking cameras rolling, this is my reaction regardless of what it is.
Yeah, but it's like, it's your reaction when you're alone. If you're the group of friends in real life, it's going to be different. That's what I'm talking about.
But that's
really with a group of friends, it would just be
it's literally just like me.
Go ahead.
No, I'll watch stuff with friends, and I'll literally sit there, I'll watch it, and then at the end I'll be like, oh, that was pretty good. You know, that's the highest praise that something can get from me, is that was pretty good. I'm very muted IRL. I'm not very animated IRL. So when it gets to, that's why I said it's like plus 20%, because I don't do the, oh, fuck, did you fucking see? Oh my God. I don't do that on stream, right? I'll go like, oh wow, what the fuck was that?
But see that,
you know, so it's a little bit animated, but not like I don't do Dr. Respect levels of
Dr. Disrespect.
Disrespect.
But it's like, but see, that's the thing. When I'm in real life, in a group of friends, and say for instance we're watching like a trailer for Monster Hunter, which we haven't really done because usually I watch those on stream now, and you know I'm doing stream things, but like. I remember when I was having discussions about Monster Hunter World, for instance, I'm going to go in Portuguese here because it's just easier for me to like reenact the stuff that would happen, right? But it's like, I would be with my friends and we'd be watching and I'd be just going, olha só o dano que este gajo, tu viste a cena a espetar pelo nariz adentro, like this would be my reaction if I would be watching like a Monster Hunter trailer with a group of friends. Now, if I'm watching solo, of course, we're not doing that, but like with a group of friends. So that's kind of just like the energy that I channel. I look at the chat that is going on and people that are in there as if I'm in a situation where I'm with a group of friends, and I just do exactly what I would do if I was with a group of friends.
See, I think it's very cultural. So my culture is sort of very... I don't want to say anti-emotions, but emotions are not meant to really be shown, except for anger. You're allowed to show anger and aggression as much as you fucking want.
That's very toxic.
But, I mean, literally, I don't know a single boy that was ever raised with cry as much as you fucking want. Not in my culture, anyways. In my culture, it's sort of like, look, you're a fucking man. Stop crying. Just get your shit done.
That's why it took you so long to shed tears in 14. But you have shed tears.
No, I haven't cried in 14.
But you came close. You told me you came close.
I came close
Yeah,
once.
you came
I came very close.
Your voice started cracking and shit.
Yeah. There was a moment where I was like...
You're not even there yet,
shit.
bro. You're not even there.
But no, crying, or not just crying, but any sort of emotion tends to be more muted in my culture.
Yeah.
You know, you're supposed to be more stoic. If you see like older people in my culture, they're incredibly stoic. You know, it is sort of this depressed vibe that they give off, which is why among friends, maybe when I was younger, but when you grow up among friends, you don't want to be that flamboyant. But then I can see in South Africa even, you see the difference because, like I told you before, most of the cafes in South Africa are owned by Portuguese people, right? So
there you go.
And they are incredibly flamboyant. And one of my aunt's friends are married. He's married to a Portuguese lady, and she is the most flamboyant person I've ever seen in my life, dude. So animated, so much fun to talk to. But when they're hanging out with our family, she sticks out, dude. Like, it's clear. Oh, she is not South African. Not even close.
That's what I mean. Sometimes I get comments of people telling me, bro, why are you like overreacting so much? And it's like, I'm not. I'm really not. No. It's just the way I am. Like, again, if I was alone, it'd be one thing. But if I'm with a group of people, it's completely different. It's like, I'm not overreacting.
Yeah. But I think it's also because I think it's Greek, Portuguese, Spanish, languages that speak a lot with their hands and a lot with the faces. Like, the hands is an integral part of the communication that happens. Whereas I think German, again, the hands aren't that big of a deal in the communication. This is why whenever you see like Spanish people or Portuguese people or Greek people speak, they'll be like, they'll they'll show these things.
That's like, Italian, bro.
Remember,
racist.
Greek people do the same thing.
Greek people do the same thing. This is Italian.
No, I know for a fact they do, because there's a Greek restaurant just here, and I literally saw the dude explaining something. He's like, but he's talking to his wife, and I just see the fucking hands go like he's trying to explain something to her, and I'm like, either they're having a fight, or he's just very passionate about whatever the fuck he's explaining. Because I have been told sometimes when Portuguese or Italian or Greek people speak to each other, to outsiders it looks like they're fighting when they're just actually having a fucking normal conversation.
Yeah.
And it's just very animated, very like big. Whereas South Africans, you'll be like, oh, they're not even talking to each other. Because for us, having a very serious conversation is like very quietly talking to each other. Like, what the fuck did you think you were doing? That's it. That's how we have serious conversations.
What the fuck did you think? No. No, man. But yeah. Anyway, that was a tangent and a half. You've been playing Divinity Original 2. I'm gonna bring us back onto the rails a little bit. How was that? Because like I've played Divinity Original 2. I'll tell you how I've played it in a bit, but tell me what your experience has been so far.
So it's made me incredibly excited for Baldur's Gate 3. Because obviously, same studio, Larian Studios, working on Baldur's Gate 3. And I'll be honest, it's taken me a long time to get into Divinity Original Sin. Because I bought the game about 2 years ago because everyone said this is such a good fucking CRPG. If you're into CRPGs, you have to play this. And I am a massive CRPG nerd. I couldn't get into it. The game is incredibly micromanagey.
Yes.
So I sort of explain it this way. The game gives you the ultimate freedom to do almost whatever you want within the confines of what games, because games can't provide you absolute freedom, but as much freedom as you could possibly handle. But that freedom comes at a cost. You have to take your time. This game can't really be rushed. You can't just go, yeah, fuck it, I'll just do it. Let's just quickly go. Best example I have of this is almost all games do this. Say, for example, you have a puzzle ahead. And I'm not talking about puzzles the same way you would get in the old school Resident Evil games or in the Tomb Raider games. I'm talking about, say, there's a door that needs to be opened with a password of some kind. Okay, so there's a bit of a ritual and a password. The game will ask you to collect the clues that give you the password and the ritual. Okay, so you go around collecting those clues, and then once you have all the clues, you click on the door and your character just automatically does the things because you already have the information. Divinity Original Sin does not do that. You get to the door, and the door does fuck all. You then have to go back to the books, the clues that you've collected,
understand them, and do something.
It says I need blessed mutton chops. Okay, how the fuck do I get blessed mutton chops? Then there's another book that explains how you bless mutton chops, right? So now you have to go read how exactly, and you make a sauce orb. How the fuck do I make a sauce orb? Oh, there's another book that teaches you how to make sauce orbs. So you have to collect all of this and then also translate all of this in order to open the fucking door. Right?
So wait.
Very intricate.
So the best part about it is that, at least in most situations, when you have that, yes, you can do all of that, or you can potentially have a rogue type character in your party, which could potentially lockpick the door if they're skilled enough, or you could have a very strong warrior in your party that can break open the door.
Break a door. Yes. Yes.
I love that aspect of it. That's the beauty
is sort of. So you get your magically sealed doors that sort of you can't do shit about. You just have to find the key to get, or you have to find a way to get out of it. But yes, this is again part of that freedom. When the game throws an obstacle in front of you, there is usually 4 or 5 different ways of handling said obstacle, depending on the game that you chose to play or how you want to play the game. And the best example I have for people of how much freedom this game gives you, you could absolutely fuck yourself to the point where you can't even finish the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like you could, in the game, kill the main quest giver for the next part of the quest.
Yeah.
You just kill him. And guess what?
Gone now.
The game's over. It's done.
Morrowind,
finished the game.
Morrowind used to let you do that, if I'm not mistaken, as well. I don't think you can do that in Skyrim, but I'm not sure.
I haven't played Skyrim at all. I played a little bit of Morrowind, and I know Morrowind would do that as well for you. But yeah, you can physically end the game within 10 minutes for yourself by just killing the people.
So let me tell you how I played Divinity Original Sin, because I, like you, I couldn't get into the game because, here's the situation. It's very hard for me to get into games like this because, look, I am the kind of guy that you put a shiny in my way, I will pick it up. I will do, like, even, for instance, I've played through Dark Souls 1,000,000 times, right?
Yeah.
And even still, I will go through a location and I will see a shiny, and I know exactly what the shiny is. I know that I don't need it. I know that it's going to be annoying to go get, but I still go get it because, like, it's not there anymore. I picked it up. I solved that problem. It's not in my screen.
I'm the same.
Right? And then you put a game like this where literally in the opening ship cutscene that you have, not cutscene, the opening ship section that you have, you can pick up all the plates and forks and knives and all of it. And I'm just like, I need to pick it up. And it's like, why do you need that? Because I can sell it and I can make money. You don't need the you don't need that chair. You can pick it up and you can take it, but you don't need it.
But that's
it's
the thing,
so
right?
hard to get over
when you hit Alt. When you hit Alt, it shows all the things that you can pick up.
Yes.
And then your brain tells you, I need to pick all the shit up.
I need to pick it all up.
There.
Yeah,
it needs to be picked up now.
Needs to be picked up. Yep.
It is. And also, if you are interested in sort of 100%ing a game, so a completionist, this game is not for you because the game can physically not be 100% completed on any single playthrough.
Yeah, but it's like if you're the completionist that doesn't mind doing multiple runs, this game is absolutely for you because there's so many different things that you can do. It is wild.
Oh yeah. I think someone said it's over 20 different playthroughs that you can get from this game, differing from massive differences to slight differences depending on.
I wish I could tell you. I can't because of spoilers. Just like some of the events that happen in my playthrough. Because so here's what happened. So I didn't. I played the game a little bit, and I think I made a video about it, and I said I think this game's amazing. I think it's awesome. All of that. But I wasn't able to keep playing because, again, it's very overwhelming. So what ended up happening was a friend of mine, Pally Time, he said, hey, we're going to do a playthrough of this game. Me, I'm not sure if they're married yet or if it's still his girlfriend, but me, my girlfriend, and my friend. The friend, by the way, used to be a community manager at Blizzard.
Oh shit! There we go.
For Heroes of the Storm, really cool guy, Trixler. So, and he invited me to be a part of the playthrough, and I was like, "Oh, that looks like fun." So we played it almost like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
So we go through, And I think we each chose like one of the pre-made characters because there's more dialogue options, because you can make a character or you can use one of the pre-made characters, and then there'll be more dialogue options as you play through the game, and even more quest line options, I think.
Yeah,
and
plus
so,
they then say your character's name because you are playing a named character within the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I played, obviously, Beast. My friend played like the lizard, and then the other dude played Skeleton.
Oh, Fane?
Yeah, Fane. And then
who played Sybil?
The girlfriend, she played the possessed woman. I don't know who that is.
Lose,
yeah. Yeah. So and we just went through and we played the game, and we kind of like role played our characters as we were going through. So like we recorded the whole thing. Like the whole thing is actually uploaded on this channel, and it was a hilarious playthrough. The shenanigans that we got into were friggin' awesome, just because, again, of the freedom that the system gives you, because there are some situations in the game where certain characters might interact with someone from your party, but not everyone from your party, which gives opportunities for like backstabbing and all of these types of things. And it is really cool. Like to the point where there would be sections of the game where it'd be like, okay, we have to all leave Discord now. And then we come back when we finish this section, because we'd be receiving like different instructions along the way, and we would have to choose what we would do. And it was really, really fun. Like, the multiplayer aspect is what really got me hooked, because it's like, it's very easy to get lost in that game. And my friend had already played through the game like 2 or 3 times. So whenever we would get lost, he'd be like, nudge us kind of like in the right direction. Like, if we want to keep going, let's just go this way and we'll figure it out. And it was just like a fantastic experience. And it was very unique. Like the crazy stuff that happened. It is, again, I wish I could tell you, because there's a specific thing that we did with a backstabbing that happened in our group, and a betrayal. And then kind of like a reversal of that betrayal, and then a betrayal again, which comes from the human element, and the fact that you can do that with the game systems. It was so good. I loved it.
No, I think that game is perfect for multiplayer playthrough, because again, it was actually designed very much with D&D in mind. I feel it was meant to be this tabletop. The combat as well is turn-based, and you have a specific amount of action points that you can use in any fight, on any round, so to speak. And you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can work with your party. So, for example, if one of your people is a geomantic, I think, or geothermy or some shit like that, geotherge, I believe, they will do earth spells. Now, earth spells can leave behind oil patches, right? And then you may have a fire mage. Now, fire ignites oil and does extra damage over time. This is stuff that if you have all of these people in your party, they can absolutely do that. There's some fucking crazy shit that I've just heard about from chat. For example, there's one where if you're a summoner, if you're a polymorph, you can actually turn things into chickens or into different types of animals that will just make them run around needlessly. But rogues have a specific ability that, and this is funny, it's called tendrils. Now, what tendrils does is, it does initial damage, but then every time the character moves, the character takes bleeding damage.
Oh, yeah.
So what happens is the rogue tendrils the guy,
and then chickens
the polymorph chickens the guy.
Yeah.
And now the guy is running around like a fucking maniac, basically killing himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, just bleeding all over the place. And then you have your necromancer that does extra damage based on bleeds and shit like that. So it is an incredibly intricate game, and you can basically play it whichever way you want. I'll give you guys one final example that I was told about yesterday during stream. One of the viewers in my chat likes to play the game solo. So he doesn't take any party members. He just plays alone. I'm like, dude, how can you play alone? You're not going to be able to do the combat. And
there's stuff that increases the power of a character if they're alone, yeah.
But here's the thing. He is a Kratos something. He calls himself a Kratos something. It's a specific build. The build involves nothing other than telekinesis. Now, telekinesis allows you to move things in the open world. So you can move things telepathically as far as you want. So what he does is he gets himself a reinforced crate because they can take a shit ton of stuff. He then loads that reinforced crate with as much shit as he... Crate Mancer, that's the thing, right? As much shit as he fucking can. Because,
and then he drops it on people.
Yeah. If you drop the crate on someone, the crate will do the equivalent of whatever is in the crate in fucking drop damage and physical damage. So he does like 9,999 damage per hit on enemies. So he just one-shots things in the game. That's how he plays. It's basically a difficult... that's the shit that you can do in this game.
The telekinesis, we had, I think Palitime was the one rocking telekinesis, and we would be able to basically teleport party members around because, like, I was playing a dwarf, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have, like, a build or anything. I'm just like, I'm going to be... tanky. So whenever I needed to get somewhere fast, I'd be like, hey, can you teleport me over there? And they just like teleport the dwarf onto something. Just pick me up and put me there. I'll do things, I promise.
But yeah, so this is the game is incredible.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say. I'm still like slowly making my way through the boat. I probably will get to Act 1 sometime.
Act 2.
Today. Later, or Act 2 sometime today later, but you know, for now I'm still on the boat. We'll see how it goes. So yeah,
it's a ton of fun. It's really for sure, and it's like it's a ton of hours too. Like I think that 5 acts, 4 acts. I forget how many it was, but yeah, there's loads and loads of things, and like the twists and turns that the story goes through are pretty friggin' awesome. I'm had really a blast. Had a complete blast playing that thing. But
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it is better in multiplayer though. I'll say that much easily. Because single player, I think I would get bored. Because like in multiplayer, I was controlling one character. I was concerned about one character, and in single player, you have to be concerned about your whole party. And I had a harder time relating to that aspect of it with that game.
You see, that speaks to me again because I'm so versed in CRPGs. You know, I started my gaming career with shit like Baldur's Gate. You know. Where you have 6 party members. Well, 5 party members plus you, 6. I love that sort of intricate micromanagey sort of play style. I really fucking love that. So for me, I prefer playing games like this single player just because whenever I play multiplayer, even in like Final Fantasy, whenever I do stuff and people want to play with me, they want to rush me. You know, it's like, oh, let's go do this. And I'm like, yeah, I'll fucking get... Dude, I'm busy. Like, can you see I'm doing something right now? Just leave me alone. Go do your fucking shit. I'm busy here. And then people are like, yeah, we have to go. We have to go. I'm like, I'm not ready. I just want to chill. And specifically with games like this, I am happy to spend 6 hours on a fucking boat that's designed to be like half an hour long. And I'll have the time of my life on that boat. Because I was looting everything. I was literally going bookcase by bookcase, looting every single one of the fucking shelves. Just, you know, this is my time. I live for this. So yeah, I'm a sort of weird guy when it comes to single player games. I prefer them.
But yeah, so I was saying earlier that August is one hell of a month for me, and we haven't even gotten to everything because Final Fantasy XIV did a live letter yesterday. Yes. And I am extremely excited about this upcoming patch. I know that you didn't watch live letter. I haven't watched the entirety of the live letter either. Because, you know, I've had to do Monster Hunter things, and I can't do everything that I'm supposed to be doing in August. That's friggin' wild. But I've seen a little bit of the summary because unfortunately a lot of these live letters are only in Japanese, and they don't even have subtitles. See, you would be begging for subtitles. Didn't you know that? Yeah, the live letters are just most of them. There has been like a couple of them where they've had live translation. But most of the live letters are just straight up full Japanese. They just speak in Japanese. And what happens is the Reddit community of Final Fantasy XIV, they do an unofficial translation on the Discord channel of the Final Fantasy XIV Reddit. And so you're supposed to watch the live letter and then at the same time be reading the translation on Discord, which is being done unofficially.
Jesus.
So even just watching it is a little bit of a chore. But anyway, they're really good at it. Like, though, I have nothing but props for the people over at the Final Fantasy XIV Reddit Discord for just doing this service essentially for free, like live Japanese translation for free whenever these events are live. Like, those people are awesome over there.
I mean, they don't have to do it, but they do it because
exactly.
I guess it's for the love of the game.
Yeah.
The one thing that bothers me a little bit about that is, I mean, why don't they just keep it in both English and Japanese? It seems like such a fail to not have it in both. Because, I mean, Final Fantasy does have a massive Western audience.
I think it's probably resources. They're like, no, we're putting our resources into making content for the game. Like, it's like, we'll show you as much as we can, and then eventually they update stuff on their website that relates to stuff that they've been talking about. But, yeah. I think there was also something that I remember, and I'm not sure if this is some feedback that they've took or not, but I remember that at some point, one of the live letters that they did, this was like, you know, when Asmongold moved over and there was like a big hype in the Western community for it.
Yeah.
It was the pre-Endwalker live letter or something like that. They had a live translation service. You watched it. So let me tell you, there was a lot of feedback from a significant amount of people saying, this is too long. And the reason why it was, one of the reasons why it was so long is because they were saying stuff in Japanese, then it was being translated in English, then back to Japanese, then back to English. And of course, that makes things go longer. And so apparently a lot of people complained. Now, I don't know if they took that to heart and they were just like, okay, well, fuck it. We'll just do it in Japanese then. Fuck you guys. Like, I don't think that was the point. I think it's a different thing, but it could have been. Who knows? Maybe it was part of the decision. They're like, hey, man, these people are ungrateful bastards. Fuck them. They get nothing.
You see, I doubt it. I would have argued, keep it long. You know, it's
exactly.
Fine. Because it was like 6 hours. But then again, so what? You know, it's 6 hours of really good fucking content.
You don't have to watch all of it. And pretty much all the Final Fantasy XIV content creators, like, they do a summary of it at the end. So just pick whichever one you like most and watch that and boom, done. And you get all the information anyways. But in regards to the live letter, so I didn't watch the entirety of it, but I did watch like the summary of the translation because they keep that archived on Discord. So you can go and you can watch and they take screenshots and stuff and put in there for context. They do a fantastic freaking job in there. Cannot recommend it enough. But so what are we getting with this new patch? For starters, it's so much content apparently that it's even hard to like show. They did like a 3-hour live stream or something. And obviously we're getting more MSQ, which traditionally is anywhere between 2 or 3 additional hours of MSQ. You know, good, solid MSQ stuff.
Yeah.
We are getting the new dungeon, which I don't know if you know how the new dungeons are going to work. So there's going to be 3 versions of this dungeon. So there's going to be a normal version, which is like for, you can even go in solo if you want to, because it scales.
Okay.
Or you can go in with 4 players if you want to, because it'll scale for that as well, but it's a more casual version of the dungeon. Now, that version of the dungeon, something that I did not know, I mean, I knew that it was going to have branching paths because I heard about it. So it's going to have branching paths, and depending on the path that you take, it's going to lead to a different outcome story-wise. And apparently that dungeon alone has 12 different endings.
Jesus.
So even just the solo content, you're talking minimum 12 runs if you want to see everything. Or you can run it once and never run it again. It's completely up to you. There will be rewards. I think one of the rewards is a mount. I don't know if that's on the casual version or on the one of the other ones, but I do know that there's a mount reward in there somewhere. But personally, I just want to see the different outcomes, because apparently what's going to happen is as we're going through the dungeon's going to have 2 bosses. That's it. And a bit of trash. And as you are going through the dungeon, there's going to be certain characters in there, like characters from the story as well. I'm not going to tell you which character it is because I don't know if it's going to be a spoiler for you or not. But there's a character in there that will be with you, with your party, I'm assuming. And the character will try to like guide you towards a certain route. But Yoshi, I think, said that sometimes she'll choose a different route. So I don't know. But either way, You go through that, you choose a different route that you go through, and there will also be like levers that you can pull. And depending on what you do, they might change the abilities that the bosses are going to have. And they might also change the rewards that you get and all of that. So that's why it's called a variant dungeon. It's like stuff changes when you go in there. It's one dungeon, but you can have 12 different outcomes depending on the stuff that you do while you're in the dungeon.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, that is really cool to someone who loves exploring dungeons. And I want to talk more about that when we get to WoW. But it's like that to me was friggin' awesome. Like, I'm like, yes, I'm totally on board with this. I'm probably going to run this dungeon the 12 times that it takes because I'm just a dungeon fiend. I love dungeon crawling. Yeah. That's my jam. But then there is the Criterion version of the dungeon. So this would be the equivalent of an extreme. So you have the extreme trials. So it's a little bit harder, significantly harder than a regular dungeon, right? And that one, you can't go in solo. You have to go in a group of 4. You can queue into it from the duty finder. So you just queue in, you go and you do it.
So
and then
you don't need to have a pre-made group for it.
No. And then there is another version of it, which is the savage version of the dungeon. And that one is going to be hard. That one is going to be really hard. You can't queue into it. You have to go in with a pre-made party. And there's like limited actions that you will have because like you can't use normal raises in there. So you'll have to use different raises. And he said that like, look, this one's going to be really hard. It's going to be fucked up. It's going to be for people that like to do like savage raiding and stuff like that. And I was like, yes, it's exactly what I want. Like a really, really hard content for like a group of 4 players, because sometimes it's hard to just get 8 players together. Right. And so that way it's much easier. Just get like 3 friends, go in there, and boom, you go do a dungeon. And that sounds like one hell of a good time. Like, I can't wait to jump into that.
I mean, so I've known about the Criterion dungeons and the system that they wanted to bring with it. And I've said at the time, I think this is an incredible move by Yoshi P. One of the key things that Final Fantasy doesn't have at the moment that World of Warcraft does have that is still stopping a lot of WoW players from actually making that move to Final Fantasy is, at least it was PvP and dungeon content that Final Fantasy didn't have. Now, with the recent changes to the Crystalline Conflict, PvP is at least now present within Final Fantasy. Is it where it should be? Probably not.
I think it's really good. I love the PvP right now. I mean, I don't do as much of it because they have a cheating problem. They definitely have a cheating problem, and I hope that they sort that out. But yeah.
I think it's still, so what I like about it is foundationally it's perfect. I love the way the Crystalline Conflict works. But I do think there's still a lot of work to be done around very competitive PvP. And this is sort of the crowd that does things like rated battlegrounds or people that do rated arenas in World of Warcraft. They still don't really have anything in Final Fantasy that would be the equivalent of what World of Warcraft offers there. But the Crystalline Conflict...
Rated arenas, no. Rated battlegrounds, yes. We've had like the Feast and stuff like that. I think that is... Because that also has like a ladder that you climb to. Even though I think that people kind of just like usually finish that in the first couple of weeks, and it's like, nope, this is set in stone, done. Anybody who got in, got in. People that didn't get in, you guys are fucked. At least that's the way that it used to work. I'm not sure how they're adapting it now, but they have had something that was kind of like rated battlegrounds. I didn't engage too much with it.
So I know the old school battlegrounds weren't really liked by many people.
No.
And that's the sort of, that's why I say Crystalline Conflict is a great baseline for what the future of the game could be. Because you can imagine more maps coming out and eventually something like a rated BG system coming on top of those maps, where you go in with your group of 5 or 8 and you challenge another group of 5 or 8. And you guys just fucking hammer it out in there.
That's the only thing that's missing from Crystalline Conflict right now, because right now it's only solo queue. So you can't actually queue in with friends. And that is like the biggest downside of it. And I understand why, because obviously they want to try and keep things as fair as much as possible. You don't want to like get pub stomps going. But I feel like there should be 2s and 3s or something along those lines. Maybe not full or full pre-mades, because you can do full pre-mades, but it's like, if you get 10 people and you get them together to fight each other, that you can do. But
Yes.
I want to be able to just like actually queue into a full 5-man pre-made, and you just have you and your 4 friends. But they don't have that yet. But once they get that in place, that system is going to be friggin' awesome.
I would sort of go the route that League of Legends is. I would say allow duo queue. So you and one other friend can queue into the normal, random crystalline conflict shit that you can play solo as well. But then you have the full queue. So you and 4 friends go in, and you will only play against other full parties.
Yeah.
And this is sort of where you get to the more... You can have the normal one, and then you have the rated one, right? That's where the hardcore PvPers are going to be hanging out. Because Crystalline Conflict, for those of you that's never done it, the difference between Crystalline Conflict and World of Warcraft is pace. In Crystalline Conflict, the game is designed to be over in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be in there for half an hour. It's 5 minutes. It's quick.
You can't be in there for half an hour. The game will draw.
No. Yeah. But what I meant is, like, it physically, even if you could, the game doesn't really work that way because it's fast-paced.
I've had matches that ended in a draw, but like those were really fucking tight. It happened like maybe once or twice, but yeah.
If everyone's equally skilled, it can sometimes get to a draw, but even then, a lot of things kind of have to go wrong for the draw to happen, more so than everyone's just doing everything right.
Yeah.
Things go wrong, and then it's like, fuck. We lost track. We made a mistake. Now we're going back again. And you can draw that way. But the games are designed to be 5 minutes done. It's over. And even if the time limit didn't exist, the game would still not really be able to get to half an hour. It's going to be 5, maybe 10 minutes at most. So it's fast-paced, it's in your face, and it's a lot of fun because of how it's designed to be. And I think that would be really good. But the other part of it that they still even haven't started fixing that they're now starting on is Mythic Plus dungeons.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy has no small form content in terms of Final Fantasy. Obviously, if you compare Final Fantasy and WoW, all of Final Fantasy content is just about small form because in WoW, the party is 20, Final Fantasy it's 8. Right?
You mean it has no small form challenging content? Because there's plenty of like casual dungeons, but you know the dungeons dungeons in 14 are traditionally like 2 poles and a wall, 2 poles and a wall, boss, 2 poles and a wall, 2 poles and a wall, boss. That's kind of.
But you see, that's the thing. People want. There are players that like dungeon content. This is why Mythic Plus has been so successful in WoW.
It's me.
Right? I am the opposite. I fucking loathe dungeon content. I find dungeons incredibly tedious and boring. Even Mythic Plus dungeons, I find them boring. But that's the beauty of Final Fantasy. It caters to so many people.
Yeah.
It's just never really catered to the dungeoneer, the guy that likes going in with 3 of his friends and just hammering shit out. This is a great first step. The fact that there's now more difficult dungeons, the only thing that Final Fantasy, and if they really want to compete with WoW, what they now need to fucking iron out and hammer out is scale. So being able to scale your Criterion dungeon like you would Mythic Plus. So imagine Criterion +4, +5, +10, +20.
I don't think they're doing that. I think they're just going to keeping the savage aspect of it, and we'll just have to see how the rewards are going to work. But they're saying that they're going to add more Criterion dungeons in future patches. So I think they're just going to go for quality instead of quantity instead of repetition. So just like more dungeons as opposed to an infinitely scaling dungeon. But I'm not sure. They could come up with a different system or whatever.
See, I'm
just curious to see what they're coming up with.
Sorry,
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I would say quantity. The problem with quantity is you will run out of dungeons eventually.
Yeah.
Or they'll become very monotonous after a while. Whereas that replayability is, again, something that players like. That's why a lot of people love Mythic Plus, is because you refine your pathways. You refine the way... It's kind of why people play things like Monster Hunter. It's that refinement of your system. It's why people play multiple playthroughs of Elden Ring. I mean, you've already seen the game. You've killed all of the bosses. But have you killed... And what I'm talking about here, there's obviously multiple playthroughs of different weapons and different playstyles. But I know of people that play one playstyle, multiple playthroughs, because they're optimizing that playstyle.
Yeah.
They're finding a better way, a more efficient way of getting through the whole game. there are people that love that sort of min-maxi effect that Mythic Plus offers.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy needs that if they're going to grab those players from WoW. Does Yoshi P want those players from WoW? This is where we get into sort of a philosophical discussion. At what point does your game become so obviously in-game instanced focused that you lose the magic that makes Final Fantasy so good? And we're sort of talking chicken and egg here. What made World of Warcraft the instance nightmare that it is? Sort of question. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, we don't know the answer to that one. But it's, I mean, in a way, Final Fantasy XIV already has tons of instance content, so it's not like it's going to really like stand out because they're still doing other content alongside it. So, but yeah, Criterion Dungeons is going to be like a major feature for me for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Then they talked about Island Sanctuary, and they spent
this is the one thing I've been excited by.
They spent a long time.
I've been excited about this.
Yeah.
Tell me, Rurikhan, tell me. What is it going to be?
I didn't watch too much of it because I want to experience it for myself. I don't want to like, because like they were going through the tutorial and they were essentially kind of like breaking the tutorial by going super fast and skipping stuff and whatnot. And just like, oh, we started building a house and here it is. We started doing this and here it is. But basically, you're going to be able to have more players into the sanctuary. This was already confirmed. You're going to be able to customize the buildings in there. They're going to give you a couple of different choices as to the buildings that you can have. The island is fucking massive. Like if they have like a screenshot of your character like flying, because you have to unlock flying in there. It's not going to be unlocked from the get-go. But he took like a screenshot, like he went up above and he took a screenshot. And there's like, imagine a large ass beach. And then just the giant green zone and mountains and stuff. Like, it is a proper zone. It's not like a tiny little island. It's a fucking proper zone of the game just for yourself. And then you can enable gathering mode, and you can go and you can gather resources that I'm assuming is what you're going to be using for, like, building the house and stuff like that. You're going to be able to get pets. You're going to be able to release pets to roam the island free, like pets that you already have. You're going to be able to enable them to go in there. People were asking about potentially mounts, and Yoshi P said, maybe we'll see if, maybe they'll let roaming mounts in there free. And people thought, oh, it's pretty funny. Like, let's just get Omega roaming free into the freaking, why not?
Just go for it,
Just let Omega like graze in the friggin' island.
Yeah. But just let Dalamud, bring Dalamud in there. Let that be your moon. Easy life.
But yeah, there's a ton of stuff to do in there, and I am very curious to actually check it out when the game comes out. There's also going to be like a crop system, but these are not connected to the actual professions in the game. So like there's going to be gathering in the island, but you don't need to have gathering professions because they want it to be more casual content, which I think makes sense. I was wondering if you were going to be able to like level up your gathering in there. That would be cool, but no, it's going to be like a completely separate system. There's going to be island scripts, which is the same thing that you would get for gathering. Gathering has its own script system, and that's going to just allow you to buy and upgrade and build the thing the way that you want. It feels like just like a sandbox system that is completely separate from the game, completely optional. You don't have to engage in it. It reminded me a little bit because I've played a little bit of Lost Ark. And Lost Ark also has like your own personal island that you get with a house and whatnot, and you can customize the buildings that go in there. Remind me a little bit of that, with the exception that it's not going to have any effect on the player power, whereas in Lost Ark, if I remember correctly, it did. Yeah. So that is going to be something that's going to be super curious, because on top of it, that system is going to be getting expanded upon throughout the next couple of patches. Like, this isn't just like, this isn't garrisons, because they don't do garrisons in this game. It's going to be like, boom, here's an island, and then we're going to keep adding more and more stuff on top of it. Mr. Happy was even saying in his video that apparently there's going to be a second island that you'll be unlocking, and I'm like, I don't remember hearing about that, but okay, there's going to be a second island too? That looks friggin' amazing. I mean, dude, that is awesome.
So here's what I will say. The people need to understand about Yoshi P. He said in his interview with Asmongold that he is a greedy guy. He wants all the players. His approach to it, though, is the healthiest approach I've ever seen from a developer. Because other games will want all the players, and then they'll spend a lot of money on marketing. They'll spend a lot of money on sort of false advertising, and they will ultimately design a game that tries to get you as addicted as possible to the game as quickly as possible, right? So they'll put a lot of chores in there, a lot of lists in there that you have to complete, and give you a lot of beautiful graphics that release all the dopamine spikes that a casino can only dream of. That's how most games will do it. Yoshi P's approach to it is actually fucking phenomenally intelligent, because he designs content to capture specific audiences. Will your hardcore raider give a fuck about island expeditions or the island? Probably not. They might have the island, and maybe they'll go there a couple of times and go check shit out, but they're hardcore, you know? They're going into extreme trials, and they're doing savage raids, and, you know, they're doing the extremes and shit. They're having a good time. They don't give a fuck about the island. Will your RPers go to the island? Absolutely. They'll have the time of their life in that island, right? That's the audience that Yoshi P is trying to grab. He's trying to reach out to every other MMO out there, their entire RP community. And he's like, look.
There's an island.
Look what we have. Do you have this? No. Well, for $14.99 a month, you can get this. Come and say hello, right? And it's beautiful. It's gorgeous, because this inspires more things from other gaming companies. Because very soon, a company like World of Warcraft are going to start realizing, wait, where are all of our RP players going?
They're going to the island.
That's the thing. That's the thing. World of Warcraft's RP players are the most neglected group of players ever. Like, people love making videos about how, you know, oh my God, Blizzard doesn't give a fuck about this, and Blizzard doesn't give a fuck about us and this. Dude, the community in WoW that's been forgotten and left by the fucking wayside ever since the creation of WoW have been its RP community. Do you guys know that World of Warcraft has weddings? It's player driven. It doesn't sell shit. You can't make your own thing. You can't go to the website and say, right, this is the ceremony I have. It's pretend. You stand there and you fucking pretend you're in a cathedral. You pretend there's a priest that's saying shit. Or
the funny thing,
it's LARPing.
My character actually got married in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, I didn't do that shit. I was at a wedding, but I didn't get married myself.
A friend of mine wanted to get the wedding dress, so he bought the wedding, because you can. I think you can also do it for free, but he wanted to get like the paid version of whatever. And in order to get that, you have to get married. And he was like, "Hey, will you marry me in game so that I can get this dress?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care." So we did the whole wedding thing, and dude, it's a really it's a serious ceremony. Like, before you do the wedding, you know how there's 12 gods in Eorzea, right?
Yeah. You have to
so you have to go to each of the shrines to get the blessing of each of the gods, and then you go and you have to go to the goldsmiths to make the rings, and then you have to go to a weaver to make the outfits, and then you come back and you have to schedule the ceremony. And then you get to choose what music is going to play at the ceremony, how the ceremony is going to end, if it's going to end with a kiss or just you floating in the air, whatever. There's so much detail in Final Fantasy XIV weddings. I was actually bruh, this was not what I expected at all. This is wild. And then it's if you go into a more expensive wedding, all of the guests get special pets as well. The wedding couple gets a mount. I have the wedding mount, which is a 2-seater chocobo. There's tons and tons of stuff that goes into the wedding ceremony of 14. Yes. And it's something super simple. And at the end of it, with the wedding rings, you can use the wedding ring and it teleports you to the closest aetheryte to your partner.
Yes. I mean, it's effort, right? They've put in the effort. But this is the thing. They take care of their RP community, but they don't forget about any other community, which in World of Warcraft is literally not the case. They take care of their raiding community, and they take care of their dungeon community, and to some extent their PvP community, but they forget about every other fucking community. So I'm really, really looking forward to the island expeditions. I keep calling it
Island Sanctuary.
The Island Sanctuary. The expeditions I did not look forward to when we had those in BFA. No, I was genuinely, dude, I remember during the beta playing the island expeditions and being the most disappointed little fucking bunny I've ever been in my life. Because when Blizzard announced that there's island expeditions coming, I was like, oh my God, dude, can you imagine the shit that they can put in this shit? It's going to be fucking epic. And then we get it, and I'm like,
you want to know what the best thing that came out of Island Expeditions was?
Yeah.
That fucking guy that came out of nowhere and started screaming, Sneaky Pete! That was the best thing in Island X. It was this friggin' undead rogue. He would just come out and go like, Sneaky Pete! I was like, okay, whoever did that one was like the most creative person in this whole goddamn thing. Coming out with a stupid undead rogue that screams Sneaky Pete every time he shows up.
Island Expeditions had so much promise, and it fell completely flat because, again, it was designed to sort of support the raiding community rather than supporting itself, rather than becoming a thing that could survive the game. I don't know if you want to transition quickly to World of Warcraft here, because there is actually something in line with that.
There's one more thing before we go there.
Okay.
But it's like, I'll just say before we move on, it's like, one of the coolest things about the way that they do it is the fact that it's not directly connected to player power. It never makes you feel bad for not doing it. And there's very few things that have actual FOMO in them. Stuff where like, oh man, if I don't go do this, I'm going to miss out. And most of the stuff that has that, they eventually put it on the store. It's like, if you really, really want it and you missed out on it, just go and buy it.
You can go get it.
It's like, you know, or at least a version of it. So for instance, there's special PvP mounts that you'd only be able to get if you were like in the top PvP brackets. And, you know, not everybody's going to be able to get those because not everybody's going to be able to be in the top PvP bracket. So they give you a different colored version of that mount on the store. So it's like, I really like that mount. I wasn't able to get it. Okay, here's a red version of it. You can just get this one instead. You're not going to have the original because the original is supposed to have some meaning for the people that did do the event. But if you just like the model of the mount, just go and buy it. Like, it's fine. It's whatever. So go ahead.
I'll say I'm still against the cash shop for the most part. But as I've said many times before, when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV, I'm not as against the cash shop as I am in, for example, World of Warcraft. And the reason is simple. When I see that the developers are actually putting effort into the game, when I see that they're painstakingly spending time making the game as good as possible, I am willing to forgive the sort of blatant bullshit of a cash shop. I'm willing to go, okay, never mind. I can see that you guys are at least spending time making the game good. The problem is when there's more time being spent making the fucking cash shop good than there are actually making the game good. That's when it becomes a problem. Like in Shadowlands, when 9 months of no fucking content, but there is a 6-month fucking mount that you can get from the fucking store if you so choose. What the fuck is that? There's no content for 9 months, but you did have time to make a fucking mount?
And you didn't put it in the game?
Yeah. No, that's part of the 6 month stuff, dude. So that you can wait for 9 months and fucking not play the game because there's no content.
It's like I am still against cash shops as well. Like if you really boil it down, in a sub-based game, I'm against cash shops because, like, look, if you're paying a sub, you should have access to everything. Like that's just it. Period.
I agree.
So I'm not a huge fan of the way that, you know, I like the fact that they use the shop in a way for things that were in the game for a certain period of time and then they were moved out. Like, in a way, there's something cool about that. That, like, if there is an item that you really, really wanted, you can go and get it. At the same time, I would prefer if there was no FOMO stuff, but there's always going to be some amount of FOMO when it comes to
You have
MMOs.
to have that, right?
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen if you don't have FOMO stuff? So let's take PvP mounts as an example here. You have a PvP mount for Season 1. Now you don't want FOMO stuff. So either Season 1 lasts for fucking ever, which, why are you calling it a season? It's not a season. It's just a fucking thing that's in the game. Or Season 2 now has Season 1's mount plus Season 2's mount. So eventually, after a couple of years, someone gets to the max rank and suddenly they just get flooded with like 400 fucking mounts in their bag.
Yeah.
It's like, the fuck just happened? What? What am I doing?
There's always going to be
for all this shit.
some limited time events. Like the one that was really frustrating for me in 14 was the Regalia, which is the car from Final Fantasy 15. That event has only been live twice. The first when I first got into the game and I saw people with the Regalia, I was like, "Oh, I want that," and they were like, "Yeah, you can't get that." I was like, "Well, what do you mean? Is it not in the store?" No, it's not in the store. This is an event only mount, and it only happened like during the launch of Final Fantasy 15 or whatever. And I was like, "Well, that fucking sucks." And I think that last year at some point they brought that event back, and I was like, "I'm getting that fucking mount. I don't give a fuck." I have the Regalia now.
How many Final Fantasy games have you played?
Not that many. I've played to completion. I've played 14. I've played 15, which a lot of people tell me it's not the best. I was like, it was all right. I played a decent chunk of Final Fantasy VIII. I did not complete it. I've played Final Fantasy VII Remastered. So it's mostly the more recent stuff is what I've played of Final Fantasy.
I saw Preach playing a game the other day.
Oh, yeah. He's been playing the entirety of the Final Fantasy franchise.
Yeah, but the one that he was playing seemed almost like an action combat Final Fantasy type.
It might be Final Fantasy VII then. Were the graphics good or were they like old?
No, it was like fucking good graphics, like proper good graphics. I'm gonna have to now go.
It's probably
over to
Final
Twitch
Fantasy
and
VII
check this
Remastered
out.
then. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remastered is really good in my opinion. I know that some people didn't like it. I thought it was really, really good.
When I looked at what the game was called, it didn't say Final Fantasy on the game. Fuck. I'm gonna have to check this out.
Was it a Final Fantasy game? You sure?
I think so. That's what I'm gonna check now. That's what I'm gonna fucking check now.
So while you're checking that, the other thing that they talked about is the upcoming Relic weapon. Now, apparently, Relic weapon is not going to have a dedicated zone to it, so it's going to be more about you doing things in the old world. So there's going to be some activities that they will do. There's probably going to be like a quest because the weapons are going to be around Hildebrand. So nobody knows what to expect from that. Because, Hildebrand's like the joke quest line of 14, which is friggin' hilarious. I cannot recommend enough people that have not done Hildebrand. I haven't finished Hildebrand. I think I'm at the last Realm Reborn quest for Hildebrand. I'm not 100% sure, but I haven't gotten around to finishing it yet. But the little that I've played of it, it always, even if I'm completely alone, it always puts at the very least a smile on my face. Sometimes it gets a couple of giggles out of me, even if I'm completely alone. I'm just like, really, dude? Really? Because there's always some shenanigans happening with the Hildebrand quest that are friggin' amazing. It is top tier comedy quest design right there.
So I love the Hildebrand quest line, but it's really not good for at least what I would consider streaming content. It's not great streaming content. It's fucking amazing content when you're just sort of sitting back enjoying it.
It depends. I think it's actually great streaming content. The thing is I'm 40 years old and speaking for long periods of time in a non-native language, it really starts to wear on me. I start getting chest pains and shit from the amount of talking that you have to do whenever you are reading a quest. You're just you're sitting there and you're reading a quest, and that does get annoying. I wish they were voiced. If they were voiced, dude, god damn, there are so many quests in this game that deserve to be voiced. Dark Knight quest line, it's a crime that thing is not voiced. To the point where I've even had talks with a good friend of mine who's a voice actor, and we've talked about doing a proper voice acting thing for the Dark Knight quest line. It's just there's so much text to read, and it's it would be a passion project. We're not going to get paid for it. But my friend was talking about special effects that he can do for when the character has his helm on and shit like that. That's the level that he was talking about. And I was like, man. But yeah, if Hildebrand was voice acted, it would be amazing.
I would 100% partake in that if you needed another voice. I would 100% be part of that. I would fucking love to do something like that.
You haven't played the Dark Knight quest yet, have you?
I've done a little of the Dark Knight quest line. Not all of it yet, but I have done a little bit of it.
If you've done have you done the level 50 quest?
I don't know. I can't remember. No,
the
I don't think so.
The level 50 Dark Knight quest is single-handedly the best job quest ever made in the whole fucking game. And I don't even like playing Dark Knight. I don't even like playing Dark Knight. That is single-handedly the best job quest ever. And the level 71 is fucking amazing too. Shit. I was not expecting after the level 51 and seeing the level 61, I was like, whatever. When I did the level 71, I was like, bro, this... Like, when I was in that quest, I was actually going, yeah, motherfucker, take that! Dude, it was wild.
I found the game. It's called FF Origins.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what that is. That's a Stranger... What's it called? Stranger in Paradise. Final Fantasy XIV Stranger in Paradise. Yes.
But what...
So, have you ever played Neo? Have you ever heard of Neo?
The Matrix Neo?
No. Nioh. Neo.
No.
Okay, so this is a game made by, I think it's Team Ninja. Is it Team Ninja? Not 100% sure. I think it's Team Ninja. But basically, it's their take on the Souls-likes. And but it's like samurai Japanese type of thing. And so basically, they did a Final Fantasy skin of that game. Personally, I'm not a huge fan. I didn't like it that much because when I play those types of games, I like being challenged. So I like playing like on the hard difficulties, and the balancing of what I saw in the demo completely like turned me off. I was just like, nah, this thing is... I didn't like it. And I know that some people are like, oh, it's because you have to use this skill and that skill. Yeah, I expect multiple playstyles to be viable, not just like, oh no, you need to do the cookie cutter thing in order to be able to, do good in the game. So that was one thing. The other thing is the art style turned me off because the darks in that game get so dark that you literally can't see anything. And it's not like, and they don't do that like, oh, because there's a torch mechanic. No, it's just dark as fuck. It made no sense. So there's the art style. There's a little bit of the combat that I was like, And so I ended up not really trying it out. I don't know what is the general sentiment of it, but obviously Preach is playing it. I don't know if he's enjoying it or not. I don't know
I genuinely don't know. I raided Preach while he was streaming. And I just sort of watched because I was on my way out and I just sort of saw him playing this and I was like, that looks cool actually.
Did you not see the Kill Chaos memes?
No.
I'm here to kill chaos. I'm just here to kill chaos. Because like they did a trailer and it's just this one guy telling everybody how he's going to kill chaos. And like that was the whole thing. And then there's like a big monologue from like a female character saying something that she did. And the main character just goes, bullshit. And he turns on Limp Bizkit music and walks out. It's just like, it's just like ton chuck full of stuff like that. And I was just like, I don't know about this one. But again, like I don't want to say this like I'm telling people to ignore the game or anything. I'm saying that was one of the reasons why I looked at it. I played the demo, didn't really care too much for it. And then eventually when the game came out, I was also playing something in Monster Hunter. So I was like, whatever. I eventually might play it, but I'm not overly concerned for that one.
I mean, I was just sort of interested. But I mean, I wait, Neo, what game was it? I played a game, Nier. What the fuck was that?
Nier Automata?
Yeah, I did not like that game. That's the one.
Why?
On Xbox
Nier
Game Pass.
Automata is awesome. What? Nier Automata is one of the best games ever made. Bro, no.
It was the camera is shit. The combat is shit. The
What?
game is shit.
Dude,
I
no,
like it.
we're not talking.
all.
We are not talking about Nier Automata. There's no way, dude. There's
Dude,
no-
I did not.
Was your
I
character
played it for like.
Was your character a female wearing
Yeah, it's
black
like
with a long katana?
Yeah, it's like a weeby girl. The like, extra weeby girl. Yeah.
Bruh, no, you can't.
And she
do
has this robot thing, this weird robot thingy that fucking
Yeah.
helps out. I did not enjoy that game whatsoever.
I can't believe you just said, like, listen, your gaming cred is just, particularly when you're a guy that likes lore. Like, what difficulty did you play that on? Just put it to easy. Like, if honestly,
it wasn't difficult. It wasn't like, it was just, I tried it and the game did not grip me at all. There was nothing about the game. I think 3 or 4 hours in, I was like, why the fuck am I playing this?
Oh my!
And then I just fired up Wasteland 3 again, and I just played that again.
I can't believe you.
That is actually good.
I cannot accept this. No, listen, you need to finish Nier Automata. This isn't even like, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Nier Automata, in recent history, it is the best game to show you what the medium of video games can do that no other medium can do. So, like, a lot of stories in video games, they can be told, like, okay, you can make a movie about that and just tell the story. You can't do that for Nier Automata. You cannot put this. No, you can't. You cannot. That's the
not.
You can't. That's the beauty of it. No, you can't.
You can make a story into a movie.
Can't. You can't. You cannot. and that is why you have to try it out for yourself, because if you don't, you'll never know. But I can tell you right now, you cannot do that.
I'll probably give it another go at some point. But like I said, it's just not.
Just be aware of one thing. About 10 hours in, they're going to give you credits. That's not the end of the game. And then you're going to play through it again. You're going to play through the same mission again with a different character. And then they're going to give you credits again. And that's still not the end of the game. And then you're going to play another section of the game. And then they're going to give you credits again. And that's still not the end of the game. It's like 5 or 6 endings until you actually understand the entirety of what is happening in that world.
See, but this is where we get into, like, the weeds of stuff. I get attached to a single character, and now you're changing the character in halfway through the fucking game.
You can't get
and now I have to get used to another character.
Yoko Taro tells you, fuck off with your conceptions. That's what Yoko Taro has to tell you.
Well, me and Yoko Taro is based left out of the fucking same room then, because I think he should have a game that has a single good character. Witcher does it. Geralt is a fucking amazing character. Everyone likes Geralt.
But what if,
no one wanted anyone else.
What if the game has multiple good characters?
Yeah, but what if I like one of the characters more than the other, but now I'm forced to play with the fucking other one that I don't like as much?
That's too fucking bad.
No, I'm being a little, I'm being hyperbolic, obviously.
You're playing Divinity Original Sin. You got to play 4 characters in that one. What the fuck?
Yeah, but my main character is Ifan. The others is just tools that I would use to reach my goal.
Wow, dude, that is fucking low. What the hell?
Hey, they're God-woken too. They want to kill me as much as I'm going to kill them eventually. But no, I couldn't get into it. For whatever reason, sometimes it's weird. Like, sometimes it is just a mindset thing. So, for example, Walking Dead. I took 3 years, actually. 3 years it took me of everyone fucking raving about Walking Dead and how good it is. I tried watching the first season, I think 4 or 5 times.
It's not that good.
Couldn't get into it.
You want to know what Walking Dead was for me for the longest time? It was second monitor content.
This is the thing.
It's pretty decent second monitor content.
Yeah, true. But for me, it was sort of, I would watch the first season and I would just be like, oh, this is fucking boring. And I couldn't finish it. Then a few months would go by and people would be like, oh my God, have you seen the new episode? It's so fucking good. I would try and watch the first season again. I can't get into this. And then just one day, I was really bored and I thought, fuck it, let's give it another go. Watched the first season, finished it this time, and then watched the second season and I was hooked. It's like, oh my God, I get what people are saying. This is a fucking amazing series. And then it lost me. I think season 6 or 7. I was like, okay, fuck this. This is enough now. We've been to enough prisons. This is bullshit. Let's leave the game. Let's leave this series right where it is. I'll just leave. But no, I sometimes it takes me a long time to get into stuff. I need some time. Like for whatever reason, I didn't get into Automata. Maybe in a few months or years from now, I might get into it.
Yeah,
and I might be like, I might come back to it and be like,
it's
my
mandatory.
God, this is good.
It's mandatory. But anyway, getting back, we were talking about relic weapons, Hildebrand, all of that stuff is also going to be coming in with the next update on 14, which is going to be on the 23rd of August. And that is why August is such a goddamn hot month. There's like all of these things coming out. And with that, obviously, there's also going to be coming the new raid tier, which they're delaying the Savage version by a week, which I think is a very good decision so that players can actually enjoy, the normal raid a little bit without having, because, Savage raiders, they're racing to see who gets there first and whatnot. And that is going to take up a significant amount of time. But now we come to another topic that I want to bring up to you because recently, in between our last two podcasts, one of the community, one of the content creators for the 14 community, Arthur's, he posted something on Twitter that I saw, and I was like, well, there we go. There is basically a even more egregious version of deadly boss mods now implemented onto Final Fantasy XIV that people were using. I'm not sure if you saw this or not.
No.
They were using it to do the most recent ultimate encounter, and it was fucking disgusting. Like, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but like when it comes to Savage mechanics in 14, some bosses, they will like tell you the name of an ability, but there will not be a telegraph. You're expected to understand what the telegraph is because it is Savage, and then, the ability comes and it hits you. So to give you an idea, one of the things that this add-on had, it had like a mini map on the bottom right-hand side that would literally put the telegraphs on the map and the position of each player. So Savage mechanics, where you're not supposed to be able to see the telegraph and be able to like react instinctively to it, would be shown in that mini map, and you could just like, okay, I just move over here, problem solved. There are those mechanics, the gaze mechanics that the bosses do, where you have to like look away. This would actually draw a fucking triangle on screen on your character, and then it would have in big red text, "Don't look," for you to like until you would look away, and then it would turn green. This cheat, apparently, I don't know if it's the same cheat or if it's a different one, also allows players to break the limits of zoom out. So everybody was playing like mega zoomed out, so you could see the whole fucking arena and everything. And I was looking at this because I remember a while back I made a video saying like, don't do this. This is a bad idea. You guys do not want to go where this fucking rabbit hole leads, because I've been down that fucking rabbit hole in World of Warcraft, and what it leads to is less quality in raids because the developers are too busy fighting with the people making the add-ons, and it's fucking bullshit, and everybody loses in the end. Literally everybody loses. There's no fucking winners in a system like DVM.
There's no upside here.
And there's what?
There's no upside. There's literally no upside.
There's no upside. So apparently there's that. I was even listening to the audio notifications are the same that you have, like that, those little that you get in World of Warcraft. It's exactly the same thing. So that this is like, I was looking at that and I was like, I can't fucking believe it. They were also drawing like tethers onto your characters because there's mechanics that involve tethers, but those tethers are going to be invisible because you're supposed to learn how they work. These mechanics would actually draw the tethers on your character onto the position. And I was like, there was a time in ICC where there was that add-on that involved like some kind of executable that would actually draw circles in the ground. You remember that? It was basically,
I can't remember the add-on's name, but
it was basically on the level of that. And when I saw that, I was like, bro, there we go. Congratulations. You fucking people are ruining the game. Good job. Good fucking job, dude.
So Yoshi P's success is actually gonna be a real challenge for him in the coming months. Here's the thing. He now has a number of World of Warcraft players that have left WoW and moved over to Final Fantasy. If there has ever been a game that has add-ons that is probably more advanced than almost any other game's add-ons, and I'm not talking about mods. Yeah. Because mods is a whole different thing. You get entire new games as mods. We're talking about add-ons. Very specifically, the game is still the same, but the add-ons change the game fundamentally. I think WoW is in a league of its own. There's another thing that needs to be considered. DBM and Bigwigs both have Patreon pages. These are not just free add-ons. These are add-ons with backing. They have money being paid into these creators so that they can keep these add-ons evolving and updating over time. The big thing with that, and most people might think, but Accolonn, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not saying there is. If you are providing a service and there are people willing to pay for said service, good job, bro. You've provided a service that people are willing to pay for. I have no problem with that. But this means there is a financial incentive to grow your audience. Because if you can get 500 people to support you, why wouldn't you want 1,000 people to support you? You need to think about this. If you have a tier on Patreon for $5 a month, if you get 1,000 people, that's $5,000 a month. That's a good fucking salary. It's a decent chunk of cash. Now, imagine if you could turn it into 2,000 by reaching into a new game. So imagine if you could go into Final Fantasy, create something similar in Final Fantasy that you have in WoW, but now you get both audiences. So you get the Final Fantasy audience and the WoW audience, and now you have 2,000 people. That's $10,000 a month. That is a decent chunk of cash. And these guys have the skills to do it. These guys are well skilled. This is why DBM and Bigwigs are as advanced as it is. And as Ruri, as you just said there, you're talking about a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
It is a race where no one wins because the add-ons need to constantly one-up the game. The problem is that these add-ons make the game easier. Now, if you want Savage raiding, the point of Savage raids and trials and stuff
is the challenge.
Is to be difficult.
Yeah.
But now you have an add-on that takes the difficulty. Because let's be very generous here and say that add-ons don't make the content just not hard. What add-ons do is they lower the content difficulty by about 10 to 20% depending on the fight. Right? Just it's a slight
in the case of Savage, it is much more than that, because you being able to see the like the what are they called? The telegraphs? Because like the telegraphs that are happening, there's a bunch of stuff that you have to pay attention to whenever you're doing a Savage fight. You have to pay attention to what is the boss doing? What is the boss casting? And depending on which way is the boss turning, or maybe he has the left arm raised up or the right arm raised up, or he has a leg in the air or the left or the right leg. And based on his casting and based on what the boss is doing, the ability is going to be different. So you have to look at the boss, look at the cast, and then predict what is going to happen. The add-ons skip all this and just instantly say, no, here's the telegraph. Here's where it's going to happen. Here's where it's going to hit. Okay. You don't even have to think. You just look to the ground or you look to that minimap, and there's a thing that instantly tells you, here's where it's going to hit. Just step out of it. And it's like, what people don't understand when they do shit like this, because they'll be like, oh, it's too hard for me to figure out. I'm just going to do this. What you need to understand is that all of these add-ons, they are perfectly, not all the add-ons, all of these encounters, they're perfectly made in a way that they give you enough time for you to look at the boss and then look at the cast bar and analyze the situation and perform an action. The challenge is precisely your hand-eye coordination. That's the challenge of pretty much any raid. It is your hand-eye coordination and your capacity to adapt and your situational awareness and all of this stuff. Yeah. And it takes the timings of each ability are made with this in mind. If you can just skip the whole process where you're thinking about what you have to do, it's not just 10 or 20%. It is easily 80% easier. Because like it literally, there's literally something that tells you, do not stand here. Stand there. And it tells you where the safe spots are. There's no challenge. You're literally just moving to the safe spot. You're not interpreting anything. Okay,
I mean, the point I was making wasn't really sort of, it doesn't matter what the difficulty setting is or difficulty lowering is at the end of the day. in WoW, it tends to be between 10 and 20% easier based on the fight, because there's still a shit ton of things that, you know, you have to do. Even if the add-on is basically telling you everything that's coming, you still have to deal with that. So there is still difficulty there. It's just 10 or 20% easier. Now, I've not done Savage Fight, so I wouldn't know exactly how much easier, but if it's 80%, this gets instantly even worse for Final Fantasy than what it is for WoW, because, and this is the point that I was trying to make, now you have a fight that was originally intended to be 20% harder than, say, Heroic. But because of the add-on, it's 20% easier. So next raid, Blizzard comes in, they want the raid to be 20% harder than Heroic difficulty. But thanks to how add-ons work, they have to make the fight 40% harder than what the baseline Heroic is, so that once the 20% goes down because of the add-ons, they get the desired effect, the one that they want. And now you have this race, right? Whenever Blizzard goes up, the add-ons go up. And Blizzard goes up and the add-ons go up. Eventually you get to a point where you have bosses that become mathematically unkillable unless everything works in your favor.
Yep.
Because everything has to be randomized effectively to ensure that the add-ons don't just play the fucking game for you at some point. Now, imagine if you have 80% difficulty decrease due to an add-on. This means you reach that point much quicker. Where in the past, as you just said, the Savage will give you more than enough time to look at the boss, look at what the boss is doing, look at the boss is costing, and then react. Now, that happens within a split second.
Yep.
Because the add-on already tells you to move. They can't give you 5 seconds to move. You have to move immediately because the add-on is telling you to move immediately. But now for anyone that doesn't have that add-on, it's unplayable. Because they can't physically see what the boss is doing and casting and move. Because by the time they've seen what it's casting and what it's doing, they're dead.
And that is where World of Warcraft is right now. And that is why the top rating guilds, and this is what I find funny. There's always the people that come in and say, I can play the game without add-ons. Yes, that's exactly why Limit and Method and whatnot have like 3 or 4 people entirely dedicated to developing add-ons in real time for them whenever they're doing the race to world first.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do the content without the add-ons. Sure, I believe you. But somehow this top tier guild still has like 3 people developing add-ons in real time for them to circumvent mechanics. It's fucking stupid. It's just straight up fucking stupid. There's no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is stupid. And the people using these add-ons, the people developing these add-ons are ultimately killing that particular portion of the game. That's exactly what they're doing. Because it's going to eventually get to a point where, I mean, I don't know how Yoshi P is handling it. What happened was when this video came to light, that player got banned. I'll tell you right now, that player got off easy, in my opinion, because I think it was like a temporary ban. In my opinion, delete his character. Delete his character in a fucking live stream. Show him getting fucking executed like a guillotine, cheater, chop, delete character. Fuck you. Like, really make an example out of these people. Like, if you get caught using these add-ons, we delete your fucking character. Eat shit. We don't care.
I would actually delete the entire account.
No.
With every item that
No, because like you can delete the character, then they can make a new one and still pay a monthly fee and continue playing the game. They just lose years of progress. And then if they keep cheating, we delete the character again.
Yeah, but you see, this is where I'm sort of like, I'm on board with harsher actions that remove cheaters from the game entirely.
Yes.
I don't even think they should be paying. I think you should absolutely region block that fucker, plus IP blocking, right?
Yeah.
IP block, hardware block, everything block. So there's ways around all of that. So I'm not saying, but this guy will have to start taking out extra money just to actually be able to play the game. So you have to make it as expensive as possible for him to actually play the game. And if he keeps cheating, it's just going to keep happening. So he's just going to continuously have to keep buying a new fucking game and also creating new cheats. It is an uphill battle. And the point that I sort of will end this rant on is anyone that says, yeah, I can play without add-ons. The problem is there's a lot of things you can do, but just because you can doesn't mean it's fun to.
Yeah,
so for example,
listen, there's a really easy example. In order for me to get to the USA, I can take a connection flight in China. I probably shouldn't, but I can.
Yeah, you could. I mean, it's not fucking hard, right? The thing is, you can rip your dick off. You don't have to, and you probably don't want to.
I'm definitely not doing that.
Right? You could rip your own dick off. And just because you can doesn't mean you should, or should be forced to. The point that we're making with add-ons are bad is that add-ons ruin the fun of the game.
Yeah.
Because now raiding isn't fun. Raiding is an incredible test of your patience, of your skill, when in reality it's not. It's supposed to be a puzzle. That's what makes raiding fun. That's why people like to raid. It's not actually supposed, by the way, to be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. It's supposed to be a puzzle that once you've figured the puzzle out, it becomes easy because now you've figured it out. Yeah. The thing that then makes it sort of different every time is the fact that you're in there with other people that can fuck things up and you have to sort of compensate for that. But it's something that I discovered, FYI, just in my very small, albeit impactful and fun playthrough of Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I had this idea in my mind. I've always had this of Elden Ring and Dark Souls games is just, it's like a massive test of hand speed and you have to be really fucking quick and roll and it's just very in your face. And then the other day on stream, I do the big horsey guy with the massive fucking shield and the
Tree Sentinel.
Giant. Yeah. Tree Sentinel. There's no. The only time you have to be really quick is when you fuck up. So there's one point where you can stab him a couple of times playing with a spear. And I stab him a couple of times. But if you stab one too many times, he does this thing where he sort of punches you with his fucking horse. Now that happens very quick. But the point is, you fucked up. You stayed too long.
You got greedy.
And so you can't really, you got greedy and now you're getting fucking wrecked because that horse kind of hurts. Not as much as the fucking giant weapon that he wields, but it does hurt. But you learn after a while, this is a puzzle that I need to solve. I need to see the attacks and I need to time the attacks. And after a while, the fight actually gets, and you see the progress. At first, I was dying like within the first couple of seconds of the fight. And then I got to halfway. And then I got to 3/4 of the way. And I would consistently get to between half and 3/4 because I had figured out most of the fight. Most of it was easy. Still challenging, but a lot easier because I already knew what was coming. I knew how to deal with it. That's what makes raiding fun. The problem is with add-ons. So imagine an add-on in Elden Ring that tells you exactly what the boss is going to do next. What they then have to start doing is they have to throw in random shit.
Yeah.
Now you're no longer solving a puzzle. You're basically dealing with a whack-a-mole system whilst trying to solve the puzzle. Because you'll be stepping to the right, but oh shit, lava. I guess I'll do a double jump to the fucking left and back. I don't have double jump, so I'm fucked.
And then eventually they patch the add-on to detect when the lava is coming. So now the boss has to do something that whacks you while you're double jumping away from the thing. And then they have to add an air dash so that you have to double jump away from the lava. And then when the hit comes, you do an air dash to dodge. And it's just like, it just keeps going and going. Because that's where World of Warcraft rating is right now. It's like, okay, add-ons have figured this part out. So now we need to add this thing on top of it. Now add-ons figured this part out. Now we add this thing on top of it and on and on and on and on. It goes nonstop. And that's why,
to the bottom.
Yeah, that's why I don't want any of that in 14 because I love raiding in 14. It was my Savage experience, even though this wasn't like, according to many people, this wasn't like their favorite tier because they didn't like this tier that much. But even though I still had a blast figuring out the puzzle and going through and actually completing the whole thing. And there definitely are those moments where like, okay, we've completed this fight like, I don't know, 3 times. After you complete the fight 3 times, like that's it. The next times you go through the fight, unless someone makes a really grievous mistake, it's a one-shot because you figured it out. You've solved the puzzle. Problem solved. Go in there, kill it. Done. The problem is that when you start putting these add-ons in, you don't have a puzzle to solve. The puzzle is solved for you. You might as well not play the game. Yeah. And that is what bothers me. And I really don't understand. And by the way, I want to clear something up because people, whenever you start talking about add-ons, people start getting real defensive. Like, I just want an add-on to change like my health bar to look different. It's like, that's fine. That's clearly, we don't care about that. Like, I think that a lot of times people start defending add-ons because of like small modifications in their UI and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. And it's like, look, we don't care about that. What we're talking about is combat add-ons that affect combat and raids. Those should never be a thing because that we've seen how that works in World of Warcraft. That just leads to worse game design, a worse experience of players. There's a reason why so many players play World of Warcraft and don't raid. And a lot of players that also play Final Fantasy XIV end up not raiding because raiding gets this friggin' like reputation. Raiding gets like a bad rep of like, oh, raiding is so hard. It's like this really big, serious business. Whenever you raid, you have to get this add-on and that add-on and do things this way. And you got to make sure that you watch a guide before you do it. None of that is intended. You're not supposed to watch a guide before you do a raid. No. You can if you want to, if you don't feel confident about your abilities, sure. But it's like, that's not the way the raids are designed. Raids are designed to be a progressive puzzle that you figure out along the way. It's just unfortunately nowadays, the way that communities look at rating is like, no, we have to watch 50 guides. Whenever you post the group up, it says, you got to watch this video so that you know the strategy that we're going to employ and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And everybody's always talking about, I don't want to waste my time. And it's like, motherfucker, you're playing a video game. If you don't want to waste your time, go to work. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, if we're going to start saying we don't want to waste our time, we're all fucked.
Yeah.
Like, playing a game by definition is wasting your fucking time. Like, you could be making the world better. Feed the children in fucking Africa or some shit. Like, motherfucker, you're wasting your time the second you load the game.
You're the person, between the two of us, you're the person that could influence that particular situation the most. Why aren't you feeding the children?
I'm playing games, bro.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up. I don't want to go there. Oh, man.
But anyway, no, I mean, at the end of the day, I think a lot of people, like, I couldn't give two fucks. We've had this conversation so many times before. Like, any add-on that just gives you the ability to move things around on your screen or make things look a little bit different, that's fine. The problem comes in when the add-on is borderline playing your character for you.
Yeah.
It's basically it's replacing your ears or it's replacing your eyes with things that your ears and eyes are perfectly capable of doing. That's when we have a problem. Otherwise, keep your fucking Alv UI. I'm happy with that.
Even CACBot, I'm against. People ask me sometimes if I'm against CACBot. Yes, I'm 100% against CACBot. CACBot is just something that will, like, say for instance, the boss is casting something, it will announce what the boss is casting. I'm 100% against that. Like, no. And people are like, well, it's just like having a really good raid leader. Yes, but your raid leader is still supposed to be human and your raid leader can still make mistakes. CACBot's not going to make mistakes. It's going to see, it's going to read what the boss is casting and it's going to instantly tell you what it is and you're going to know which mechanic you're dealing with. And it's like, if you are so overwhelmed doing your rotation and whatever and not being attentive of the boss, then you're the one who needs to get better at the game so that you can look at the boss while you're doing your rotation. You just need to get better. It's just that simple. But people nowadays, they don't want to get better. They want stuff kind of like handed to them, and it fucking sucks. It's like, no,
I would
get
say
better.
if CACBot allowed you to maybe make the cost bar of the boss bigger or anchor it to your screen somewhere, so you can, no matter where you're looking, you can see, oh my god, there's a cost bar. What is it? Okay, I can react to this. I know what it's costing.
See,
that's fine.
This is why I have the boss's cast bar right next to my ability, so that when I'm looking at my rotation, I'll see the cast bar. I'm like, it comes. I can see it.
But you see, that's the thing, right? Yeah. If CACBot was only doing that and nothing else, or it gave you the ability to put in flashing letters on your screen, casting whatever, that's still, it's just another place to read what is happening and be like, oh, okay, I have to react to this. But you're still doing the job.
That's like...
It's borderline, but at least you're still having to do the job, right? The problem is if it's starting to read it out to you, well, now what's the point?
You don't even have to look at it. It's like, yep, I know what mechanic is coming next. That's fine. Yeah,
it's already fucking happening, right? It shouldn't do that, because at that point it is starting to replace. So I would even say it's too far if Cactbot played a sound whenever a certain cost came out, because that's the point where you go, no. The whole point of raiding is observing.
Yes.
It would be the equivalent of an Elden Ring. There's a ping before the guy spins. It's like, no, I can see him building up for a fucking spinning move. I should dodge the fuck away now.
Exactly.
It shouldn't go, get away, little girl, before he fucking spins, because now I don't have to look. Is he lining up a shot? Is he spinning? What's going on?
It really weirds me out that people want to skip all of these mechanics, because at some point it's not even a game anymore. You're not playing the game. You're just listening to something and pressing it. It's almost like, okay, you might as well be playing a game where there's just a sound that tells you press the Q letter, and you're just like, boop. Yay!
Yeah, but I
press
will
this
say,
button. Boop. Yay!
I will say there's a lot of people in this world that kind of don't mind living their lives that way. They want to live a life where they're told what to do by someone that they view as an authority figure, because that removes all of the effort out of living. Someone tells you when to wake up. Someone tells you when to go to bed. Someone tells you when to go to work. Someone tells you what to do at work. Someone tells you when to take your break. Someone tells you what.
I'll tell you what. Those people shouldn't be fucking rating in video games. There you go. Problem solved. Go do something else.
I would argue those people shouldn't exist, but that's a whole different fucking.
Let's not go. Let's not go that far. Let's not go that far. But I
don't mean we should kill those people. I mean. Those
let's
people
really get into the nitty gritty. They shouldn't even be born. Jesus Christ.
No, because I don't think people are born that way. I think people are made that way. I think education makes people that way. I think a lot of people go to school, they see the teacher standing in front of the fucking class, telling them what to do, and they sort of start living their life. There's always someone at the front of the class telling me what to do. It's safe, it's easy. I hate that system. I think people should be taught, listen here, you are in charge of everything, and you should be the one that makes the decisions for your own life. But that's getting into like philosophical bullshit that doesn't have anything to do with Final Fantasy.
So yeah, guys, at the end of the day, cheating is bad. Please don't do it. You're going to ruin the game for everybody else and
for yourself.
Yeah, and for yourself as well. Yeah, pretty much. You're basically ruining the game. So don't do that. And if you get banned, don't fucking cry. Fuck off. And I wish they had deleted your character. That's all I gotta say to that. As a matter of fact, they should delete your character and ban everyone in your party. As like a kind of like no, maybe not that, because some people can be cheating and you don't know and you have no control over it. It's like I want something extreme to like be made an example out of these people. Just like, hey, you cheated in the video game? Good, you're banned forever. We're going to like publicly shame you for like years forever to come. And it's like you get what you fucking deserve, because it should be. Like something extremely negative should happen to people who cheat on something like a raid. If you want to cheat in a single player game, do whatever the fuck you want. We don't care.
Nah,
but like in multiplayer games, like no, don't do that. That's fucked up. And whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Rurikhan here. Sorry to interrupt your podcast listening experience, but as it turns out, me and Accolonn went a little bit too long on this particular recording. We record about 4 hours of podcast, so I decided to go ahead and split it up into 2 different episodes. This way it's a little bit better for the YouTube algorithm, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but ultimately I still need to please the algorithm gods. So that is going to be it for this portion of the episode. The next episode, I will be releasing it pretty soon in the channel. I'm not going to keep you like a week waiting, because probably some of the news are going to end up being outdated by the time I would release it. So I'm going to be releasing the other episode like tomorrow or something. But until then, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, as per usual, you can hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification icon, all of that stuff. And Accolonn's links are going to be in this particular description. And I'd also like to give a special shout out to Accolonn for agreeing to work with me on the podcast on a weekend, because my schedule has been completely all over the place, and it was going to be impossible for me to record next week. So this way we're able to get like a really beefy episode for you guys. So I'll tell you guys what, if you do nothing else on YouTube today, can you at least go and check out like another random Accolonn video to kind of just like show him a little bit of support for being a absolute trooper, because I also screwed him over on scheduling because of time zones. So like I end up taking up 5 hours of his time on a Saturday. So help me show some appreciation here, huh? Thank you. Thank you all very much. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.